Hello, everyone, and good evening and happy Thursday to you all. It's time to have the traditional Thursday evening. It's time for you to get on this mothership, and it's time for you to get into this ring. It's time for the experience. It's time for the wrestling experience. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about WrestleDream, and we're going to give you our predictions. I've got a plethora of wrestling news for you. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to rewind Dynamite. All of this and more. Oh, and plus, we're going to rewind Crown Jewel. All of this and so much more here tonight. Tonight, you've landed on the mothership. It's time for the experience. It's time for the wrestling experience. All right, folks, welcome back to the experience. Welcome back to the wrestling experience. And like I said, tonight we're going to have a plethora of show. It's a jam-packed full of shows. So let's just get into it. Let's just get into it. And we're going to give you our wrestling stories here tonight. We're going to go through the wrestling stories, and then we will have, after the wrestling stories, we will then rewind. We will wind Crown Jewel. We're going to rewind it back, and I will have opinions about everything you need to know about Crown Jewel. So let's just get into it. All right. All right, folks. Let's get into this. All right. WrestlingNews.co. WrestlingNews.co says more details have emerged regarding Andrade El Idolo regarding recent and abrupt removal from AEW programming following his surprise return a couple of weeks ago. Andrade was pulled from television after WWE reportedly sent a cease and desist letter to All Elite Wrestling. So, if you all didn't hear, I'll give you the backstory to this. Andrade was was with the WWE. Okay, Andrade was with the WWE, and and he Jeffrey, how's it going tonight? Hit the like button, Jeffrey. And Andrade was a part of the WWE roster. Okay, apparently there was some issues with Andrade and WWE creative. It led to the point where there was a powder keg backstage. Andrade showed up to WWE backstage on some kind of medication, or he was high or what. Something was wrong with Andrade, and he violated the WWE's wellness policy. So he violated the WWE's wellness policy, and apparently he had enough of WWE creative, and he didn't show up for his assigned duties. He didn't want to return phone calls, so WWE let him go. But however, when Andrade was released by WWE, he has a non-compete clause, which he's supposed to wait 3 months. He's supposed to wait 3 months to get cleared from WWE. And apparently Andrade did not do that. He violated the clause. So He showed up on AEW TV, and WWE's Triple H and TKO were visibly upset after seeing Andrade in the ring on Dynamite. Well, this all happened because then now WWE's legal team sent a letter to Tony Khan saying to Tony Khan, Andrade is violating our, our non-compete clause, and you must remove him from television immediately. So this is what's going on. So that is what happened. So according to the new report from Fightful Select, a letter indicating Andrade was still under the 90-day period following his WWE release. So was Andrade was released by WWE, but as I said before, and I'll say it again, he is under the 90-day compete clause, which is 3 months. So therefore, Andrade cannot appear in any wrestling organization until that 90 days has expired. Once the 90 days has expired, then he could sign with any wrestling organization. But Andrade didn't want to listen to that. He didn't want to listen to that. Tony Khan picks up the phone and calls Andrade and says, "Hey, do you want to be on Dynamite?" And Andrade appeared in the ring with Don Callis, and apparently enjoying the Don Callis family. But hold the phone, he's not supposed to be there. So I'm going to continue reading the story, but before I do, let me see what Jeffries has to say. He went to AEW too fast, exactly. And Andrade said, what is it? Abdul, Wrestling News. Yes, Abdul. Hit the like button, Abdul. Welcome aboard. Thank you for your comment. And Jeffrey says, "What's up? What's up, Jeffrey? How's it going?" Abdul says, "Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me just see what Abdul says. Good evening. Good evening to you, Abdul. Thank you so much for your comment." Jeffrey says, I DM you some Andrade too. Oh, I didn't see that, Jeffrey. Thank you for that. Hello, Earl. Exciting here. Yeah, it is exciting, Abdul. Thank you so much for your comment again, Abdul. Thank you. And what's up? Yeah. So thank you to Abdul and thank you to Jeffrey in the chat. And Jeffrey says he just won the championship in the Indies. Oh, okay. Abdul says awesome. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you're awesome too, Abdul. And welcome aboard. Thank you so much. Everyone in the chat, please make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe and you share. I greatly appreciate it. So, getting back to Andrade, let me just read the rest of the story. All right. So, according to Fightful Selects, he's still under the 90-day compete clause I just mentioned. This developing story caused a widespread confusion, as many within AEW and WWE, including staff and roster members, were under the impression that Andrade has been outright fired and was a free agent with no remaining contractual obligations. The report notes that Andrade and his representatives began taking independent bookings and signed with AEW under this belief. Andrade's unforeseen absence directly impacted AEW's immediate creative plans for both Dynamite and the WrestleDream pay-per-view. However, sources within AEW state that there's no bad blood between Andrade over this contractual issue. The working plan remains for him to compete in AEW once the matter is resolved. His 90-day period clause is going to be concluded in January, which would clear the way for his full. Okay, so Hologram is here, and let's add Hologram to the show. Yes, Hologram, welcome,
Hi.
welcome, welcome to Wrestling Experience.
Hello,
Um,
hello.
let me just go to the chat and see what's happening. Jeffrey says ever since his divorce from Charlotte, he's been in a downward spiral. You absolutely right. You absolutely right. You absolutely right, Jeffrey. Hooligan. First of all, welcome aboard, and make sure that you all subscribe to Hooligan. Um, Join his YouTube movement. Subscribe to him. Make sure you follow Hooligan on social media and X. But make sure that you have the correct change, or else Mr. Hooligan will make a stop top on that. Yes. All right, Hooligan. I'm talking about Andrade. That is what we're
Oh
in the
boy.
middle of.
Oh
That's
boy.
what we're in the middle of. Okay, so Andrade's non-compete clause will expire, ladies and gentlemen, in January of 26. So that means that he is free to join any wrestling organization after that. Now, Tony Khan should have known this. Tony Khan should have known that any wrestler that gets released by another organization, they do have that clause in their contract. And I don't understand why Tony Khan didn't go to Andrade and says, "Listen, I can't put you on television because of this contract issue. We have to dial it back." So I don't understand why Tony Khan didn't communicate with Andrade. It made Tony Khan look embarrassing. That's one thing. And then another thing is it made Andrade look like a fool because basically, both parties should have known that you can't bring somebody on television that's still obligated to another organization and still chained to that organization. So my thing is that here is I blame Tony Khan for this, and this was an oops. This was a major oops by Tony Khan. Um, Jeffrey says, "What's up, Hooligan?"
What up, Jeffrey?
Hooligan, what do you think of this?
Well, a big ol' oof. Uh, what I think happened was probably Andrade maybe fibbed to Tony Khan, and maybe Andrade lately to me, I've been tweeting about him recently. The moves he's making doesn't seem to be. Sorry, my headset broke, so um I'm trying to keep it on my head here. But no, Andrade is not. He's not really making himself look like the sharpest tool in the shed as of late with the moves he's making, and I wouldn't be surprised if whether he lied or maybe he was under the belief that he didn't have a no compete.
No,
He
he
probably just
he didn't. He. I'm sorry to cut you off, Hooligan. They said he knew. He knew,
because I
and
read that he got a
if
phone call from WWE. I read that he got a cease and desist.
well, according to what this article said, the cease and desist did not go to Andrade.
It
It
went to
went
AEW.
to it went to Tony Khan.
Okay. So Andrade probably lied to Tony Khan. Probably told him he wasn't under a non compete. So Tony Khan puts him on their show the day after he's released from WWE, and then now we get all this egg on AEW's face. So, um, and I read today, just a little bit ago, that the new policy is if you've breached if you've breached your 90-day no compete, you're subject to a full year of no compete. So I read that Andrade's had to get a lawyer and that WWE could pursue legal action. And if they choose to do that, that would keep Andrade out of action for a full year. So, oops. I don't know that they'll do that. Maybe they won't make such a big deal of it because I feel like a year without pay is kind of excessive. But
Um, yeah, Jeffrey says just messed up the story with Kenny Omega that he attacked. Yeah, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Tony Khan was going to book this match for WrestleDream this Saturday. He was going to have Andrade take on Kenny Omega in the pay-per-view, but now that has to be washed. That has to be washed because because Andrade cannot wrestle on television or pay-per-view or any other place until that non-compete clause is removed. And I haven't. I mean, I know
He
that
attacked
if
Kenny
you,
Omega, right?
huh?
He attacked. I don't see. I don't. I've had my fill of AEW, so I no longer follow the product on a week to week basis.
So
But
yeah, he attacked Kenny Omega on a
yeah,
recent edition of Dynamite. He
right.
popped up on television, and he apparently was supposed to join the
He
Don
joined the Don
Callis
Callis
family.
family. Yes,
So then, after all of that, the next week on Dynamite, he was pulled from the television show and he
right,
was pulled from everything else. And the fans were confused, like, what is happening? Why is Andrade not on AEW TV after he debuted? Well,
right.
now we know what the situation is. So we're gonna follow this story, folks. We're gonna follow it. We're gonna find out what's gonna happen here. But
So
all I
he's
know is
seen up
right.
at the top of the stage with the Don Callis family, and after he attacks Omega and everything. And now WrestleDream is on Saturday, right? It's this Saturday.
Right.
Well, they can't exactly have Kenny Omega and Andrade on the show, so
No.
Andrade's not going to be on the show clearly. But is Omega on the show, or did they take him off the show too?
I think Kenny Omega has no opponent yet.
I mean, it's called
So,
WrestleDream because the shit it fucking puts you to sleep when you watch it. I mean, this is absolutely atrocious.
well, I can't say that. I can't say that. And I won't say that. Because all right, this pay per view has no build to it. It has no build to it. But here's the thing.
Which is
Here's the
crazy because
thing.
2 years ago, for the first WrestleDream in Seattle, it was the best pay per view they did the whole year.
Yeah, I listen. As I said before, and I'll say it again. You take it for what it is, and you just roll with the punches. You just take it for what it is and roll with the punches. Um,
Yeah,
but we're going to talk about WrestleDream. We're going to talk about WrestleDream. We're going to predict the matches that you're going to see this Saturday night.
I thought we were
Um,
covering Crown Jewel.
we're going to be doing a lot of stuff tonight. This
Oh,
show is baked
packed?
potato
Are we
stuff.
jam packed? Oh shoot.
Yes, we
Okay.
yes we are. Okay,
We're the whole
folks.
steak and baked potato tonight, huh?
Yes, we are. Okay, folks. So that is one of the wrestling news. Okay, so that was the news on Andrade. All right, let's continue,
Yep.
folks. What is it?
Nothing. He's laughing at me.
Okay. Andrade did it to himself. Yeah, he did. He certainly did.
Andrade
I
tries to
was
pull these like
thinking why
little.
he
He's
didn't
done this
show up
before
this
in his
week.
career. He's made little
Yeah,
blunders in his career when he's jumped ship back and forth from time to
but
time. About
but
this is the
I
first
think,
time.
yeah, but this is the thing is that now people are seeing that he has an attitude problem, and his problem is that he's acting like a 5-year-old. Because here's
Well,
the
he's
thing.
becoming the new Alberto Del Rio.
Here's the thing. He wants everything his way, and
Yes.
the thing is that you can't keep doing this. We can't keep coddling to these wrestlers' egos because they want to do things their way backstage. I mean, this is just ridiculous. We've got things to do here. We got things to focus on, and we don't have time to babysit someone and put pampers on them and powder their ego behind. I
Yeah.
mean, this is absolutely ridiculous, and I find this behavior very disturbing. Um, it, if you want me to be perfectly honest with you. All right, and here's
Very
something even
entitled.
more.
It's very childish, like you were saying. It's very entitled behavior. I think we saw
Yeah,
this with Alberto Del Rio. I know him and Andrade both. They come from a wrestling lineage, so they're not first generation wrestlers. They come from wrestling is in their blood. So I think maybe that kind of adds to the fire a little bit when they become disgruntled. But Andrade's got to recognize like we're on the cusp of John Cena being gone, and then boom, right after that, AJ Styles is going to be gone. I'm pretty sure the Hardys are retiring next year. What else is happening next year? I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on that's not really involving Andrade in any way, shape, or form.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And it's absolutely, yeah. No wonder Charlotte divorced him. Yeah. Again, like I said before, I'll say it again. We don't have time for this. We don't have time for this. We have it in baseball. We have it in basketball. We have it all over in sports. And these people need to be. They want to be coddled, and we don't have time for this. We don't have time for this, and it's just terrible how you embarrass yourself. He reminds me of Riddle. Riddle was the same
Oh yeah,
way.
that's
Yeah,
perfect.
Riddle was the same way. I mean, his attitude was stink, and then to show up drunk on backstage like you didn't even care what anybody thought of it. I mean, this was ridiculous. Violating the wellness policy and everything else, and then sticking your middle finger up in the air at Triple H and all this kind of stuff you were doing backstage. I mean, this was ridiculous. You're acting like a kid. You're acting like a kid, and no wonder WWE turned away from you, and got rid of you because you act like an ass.
He's still acting like an ass. I seen he was in an interview recently talking shit about CM Punk, and it's like, bro, you're not even on anybody's radar. Why are you talking like your goal should be to get back on TV with one of these major promotions, and you're not going about that exactly the right way, if you ask me. But what do I
No,
know?
exactly.
What the
All
heck?
right,
Go ahead.
folks. All right, folks. We're gonna go to story number two, and this is very disturbing. Okay, here we go, folks. WrestleNews.com. A deeply disturbing story out of South Carolina is making headlines, and its unexpected connection to pro wrestling. Donnie Ray Birchfield Jr., the son of a pastor, has been arrested in Lancaster, South Carolina, after the police uncovered a horrifying situation at his home. Authorities reported that unattainable death at a property only found three more individuals confirmed in his basement. Some
Okay,
of
wait a second.
the
Hold on. What are we talking about here?
okay. Let me dial it back. Let me dial it back. WrestlingNews.com. This is from
Yeah.
WrestlingNews.com. Says a deeply disturbing story out of South Carolina. It's making headlines, and it has an unexpected connection to pro wrestling.
Oh, okay, okay. I was like, what?
Donnie Ray Birchfield Jr., the son of a pastor, has been arrested in Lancaster, South Carolina, after police uncovered a horrifying situation in his home. Authorities reportedly responded to an unattended death at the property, only to find three more individuals confirmed in the basement,
Oh,
some
really?
of whom were allegedly held there for nearly a decade.
What?
The yeah, yeah. The Law and the Law and Crime Network published 23-minute video reporting that the allegations, including several photos of Birchfield at a wrestling event. One image shows him as showed during the pandemic, standing next to AEW President Tony Khan and Luchasaurus.
So
Another photo, he is seen at a convention posing with the one man gang, and another individual wearing an Undertaker's t shirt. The thumbnail on the video now circulating online shows Birchfield wearing an AEW hoodie. An unfortunate visual has drawn attention across the wrestling social media. He's now facing 16 criminal charges, which includes false imprisonment, domestic violence, financial fraud, and exploitation of a vulnerable adult. This shocking case is
what?
unfolding, but the visual ties to AEW have already sparked conversations among wrestling fans.
Wait,
Though
none
there's
of these charges are murder?
no,
I mean, okay, so
no.
if you didn't purposely kill somebody, but they died because due to your negligent care because you had them locked in your basement for 10 years, what do they call that?
Well, I don't know. They call it exploitations of an vulnerable adult. I have no idea what that means. I have no idea. Um,
This is
eh,
you're right. This is deeply disturbing, and the fact that he's in
yeah,
a picture standing next to Tony Khan. And I see all these people that defend AEW on Twitter and the way they attack people, content creators like JD and stuff. Um, and I've said many times they seem. I tweeted this out just a couple of hours ago, Earl, that
yeah.
AEW, like the AEW stands, the really
Um,
hardcore stands, a lot of
uh,
them have like some mental
I've
issue.
been
I'm like a lot of these AEW
Iguana
sickos
CFO.
that we call them, we joke and we call them sickos or whatever, but a lot
Right.
of these guys could be put in the psych ward at a hospital, at a mental hospital. They really could, and this is a
Yeah.
perfect case in point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is absolutely disturbing because here's the thing. Some of the fans, because some of the fans seen the photo of him with Tony Khan, they thought that he was part of AEW's staff,
Yeah, that's
and
not a good
uh,
look.
no, that's not a good look. And I when I read this story, ladies and gentlemen, it was very cringeworthy. And like I said before, I'm just a messenger, so don't ask me any other questions because I I just found this story very disturbing, and it's a kind of story that makes you scratch your head, and it just makes you wonder how people in this country don't use what I like to call common sense. I mean, you look in the newspaper. I'm quite sure everyone who works in a wrestling organization, I'm quite sure if you're a president, a CEO, I said you must read paper, you must watch TV. So you have to see these things on TV, these stories. So I understand in your head, in your heart, listen, I own an organization. I can't be seen with this man. So when you're at the wrestling sign and you see the man and you see what he's done on television, tell him no. Get away from him. Don't take a picture with him. Don't pose with the person. Just get away from him. Remove yourself from the situation. And that I don't understand why people don't do that these days. I don't understand it. Because your reputation is going to be ruined. It's going to be ruined. Um, Jeffrey says, well, that's disgusting. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, Abdul. Wow. Wow is right. He went on. Yep, he did. He certainly did. Jeffrey says, remember Riddle my promo with Oscar? He forgot his lines. Yep. Well, yes, yes, yes. That was bad. Um, remember Edge? Yes.
Remember that promo with
Uh,
Riddle and Seth Rollins on, I think it
yeah.
was Raw, and Rollins called him a punk ass bitch live on TV, and then the only thing Riddle like Riddle was so terrible in that promo. I don't know if he might have been high or drunk on that promo too, because he just kept saying over and over again like, where are you, bro? Somebody posted that promo the other day on X, and I went and watched it and
Oh,
relived that moment. That was pretty cringeworthy.
oh my gosh. The wrestling business really resilient matters and working together truly. Yeah, I agree with that, Abdul. I agree with your assessment. Jeffrey says, no, yeah, okay, I read all of that. That's weird. Absolutely. So again, folks, like I said, it's common sense. Well, look, what do you think of this story?
Um, so as you were reading it, the reason why I had interrupted you because I was trying to understand. I guess I just didn't let you speak long enough, and that's my bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. But I was trying to understand how this tied into wrestling because I just got caught up in the details you were reading of, the authorities got a call and they went to investigate about a dead body, and then they find multiple dead bodies in the guy's basement, and then as they investigate, they find, ties to or pictures of this guy at wrestling events, and that's so I've been telling people recently, um, I've been speaking about my anxiety condition that I deal with, and I've dealt with
Sorry to
this
hear that.
anxiety. Oh, thank you, Earl. It's been something that I've had for most of my life, and um, It's the reason why I don't like being in large groups of people anymore. And then when you add to that the state of the world that we're living in with all the mass shootings going on in this country on a
Right.
pretty much day-to-day basis and stuff, I just don't think that for me personally, it's very hard to get me to go out into, like, I can go to public, but to go to an event, like let's say like a football game or a concert, I can't do those anymore. It's just too much people, and my brain overthinks. So, you know, if it wasn't for WrestleMania and WWE, I guess raising prices like for WrestleMania and all these WWE shows, putting it at a price range where it completely knocks me out of the realm of even being able to go. My dream was always to go to WrestleMania. That was my bucket list dream, and I've had to come to terms this year with that's probably not going to happen unless things change, unless the economy gets better, unless they drop prices, unless the safety concerns that I have for this country are addressed. Um, it's deeply disturbing, and then to find out that there's a picture. Tony Khan was standing right next to this guy. Tony Khan didn't know probably this guy and what this guy was doing. You said that he had people in his basement for over a decade. He was keeping them in
Yeah,
prison,
yeah, 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 yeah. That apparently that's this is what it says here in the
and he was the son
article.
of a preacher,
Yeah,
a man of the cloth, a man of God.
yeah. Authorities
Yeah,
reportedly
nah.
responding to yeah.
This is why
Yeah.
I watch at home. This is exactly why I watch at home, man.
Three more individuals. Yeah.
Nope.
Um. Yeah.
It's very disturbing. There's so many people roaming around this country now that are in desperate need of mental health, mental medicine for their mental health issues, and they're not getting it. Um, a lot of these people, some of them need to be just, institutionalized because their health issues are a bit more severe. I would consider this to be a severe case. Like, what is this guy doing roaming around free? How do you imprison people in your basement for 10 years and nobody knows? What, his dad didn't
It
know?
was. I don't. Who?
Crazy. I know you don't
I
know.
don't know.
I'm just saying,
I
like,
don't.
it just seems weird that somebody could get away with that for so long, especially a preacher's son. Like, yikes. This is
This was.
why I don't like going outside no more, man. I don't even like going to the grocery store. I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. You know who the
Yeah.
hell you're gonna come into contact with.
No. I don't. I just found it.
Some lady was on TikTok the other day telling women, she was trying to put out a warning to women in her area to beware of a man. I think he was in California. He's pretending to be injured and he's asking women for help on the side of the road, and he's kidnapping them Jeffrey Dahmer style, or not Jeffrey Dahmer style,
Oh,
Ted Bundy. He's pretending to be. He's doing the same thing that Ted Bundy used to do. Act like his car's broke down and he's asking unsuspecting women for help, and this woman opted not to help him, and thankfully because she lived to tell about it.
yeah.
And you just can't trust nobody no more.
No, no, you can't. All right, folks.
That's crazy.
That was yeah. That
It doesn't surprise me
that
though
was
that he's got a picture with Tony Khan and not Triple H. That's really ironic.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna move on, Jeffrey. We're gonna move on from that. All right, folks. All right. Here comes wrestling news number three. Gail Kim has found herself back in the spotlight, but not because of anything she says in the ring. This time it's over a fresh rumor claiming she tried to get into AEW. A rumor says that it's 100% fake. The person behind the claim was BJ Bethel,
Oh, him.
the same reporter previously roasted online for pushing false stories about AEW gaining an extra 500,000 viewers on Max Stream. Bethel took to Twitter with the statement alleging Gale had actively reached out to AEW weeks ago and not the other way around. In the latest story, in the latest breaking story, Kim contacted several people about the opportunity at AEW at some point. Longer than a couple of weeks ago, no one reached out to her. The post immediately sparked speculation across social media of whether Gail Kim was seeking an AEW role behind the scenes or even a surprise in-ring return. But TNA Hall of Famer shut down with a fiery response, calling Bethel's claim a lie and attacking his journalistic ethics. I don't know. I don't know about this.
Why
This
would
perfect
Gail
example.
Kim? Sorry, Earl. Go ahead.
Uh, okay. Okay. I'll finish this statement and then I'll make Hooligan make his point. I don't know. I don't know, but this is a perfect example of someone lying and has zero integrity. At least when I say what I say, I'm saying it, and I feel that I am truthful and will defend my with facts. Zero integrity here. Moments later, Kim doubled down with a second tweet, dropping a real version of the events of herself. So, Hologram, what were you saying? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking. First of all, this BJ Bethel guy, I've been watching this guy for the last since this story broke with Gail Kim a couple weeks ago. I mean, this guy's been getting absolutely annihilated on social media by a couple people. Uh, why would Gail Kim, if you just sit and think about it before you're about to make your
Yeah, Kim would never.
tweet that about Gail Kim or whatever, just all you got to do is think. She hasn't been in the ring for a number of years now. She's in a high
Right,
profile marriage.
right,
She seemingly doesn't. I've not seen or heard anything from Gail Kim that would make me believe she's interested in coming back to the squared circle for any
any
reason.
reason.
And
Right,
then you think about all the buzz that's been behind TNA lately. Why the fuck would she want to go to AEW? You'd think if she's trying to come back, she'd want to go to TNA, right? Ain't that where she's from? Ain't that where she got famous? And then she switched to the WWE for a little bit, but she didn't find
right,
too much success there because Vince McMahon, we all know how he feels about Asian people. And
right,
then she
right,
went back
right.
to TNA, but she's a TNA knockout legend. She's a legend, and TNA's been
Uh,
hotter than they've ever been. Why wouldn't she want to
yeah,
go there? Why would she go to dead in
right.
the water, ice cold? Nobody's watching the shit product of AEW. It doesn't make any sense. So for BJ Bethel to just kind of carelessly put that out there, boy, I'm sure he's regretting it because, whoo, he's been having a rough
Um,
time on social media the last couple of weeks.
yeah, Gail can would be a producer for the NXT too. Yeah, well, that would be that'd be something if she did that. If she wanted to do that, Gail Kim would never go to AEW. That's what Hooligan just said.
It wouldn't make any sense
Okay.
for her to go to AEW whatsoever.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me just say this, and I'm just gonna make this statement. A lot of these wrestling journalists that are on Twitter and X, they say a lot of erroneous things. They come out with these things that I read on X. Some of it is so outlandish, and it's like taking out of the box. I'm like, where do you come up with these things? Like they'll create a storyline that makes absolutely no sense, especially if the person is injured or the person is on the shelf for months and they're never coming back for a while. Where do you come up with these
He
stories?
probably got a DM from Dave Meltzer.
Well, I don't know where these people get these information from because I'll sit there and I'll read them and it's like I said before, folks. I'm a messenger and I like to bring out stories for all of us to debate on and to chew on. And some of the stories I can't put on the air because they're so far fetched and they're so out of the box that I just like as a wrestling fan for 3 decades, as everybody knows, I just can't wrap my head around the thought process. It's just like if I put something on here, if I went like for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say for example, I went in, I said something about AJ Styles, and I put out a false story about AJ. I don't know AJ Styles personally. I don't know what he does backstage. I don't know I don't work for WWE. I don't even know what AJ Styles does.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I sit there and waste my time putting out an article on X knowing it's false and I don't have anything to do with it, and then it's going to come back to me like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I would never do that.
Exactly. Even if you read it
I,
somewhere, right? Let's say you read somewhere that Gail Kim was interested in coming back and she wants to sign with AEW. Why are you going to, if you're a journalist, if that's what you call yourself on social media and that's what you're presenting yourself to be to everybody, and you go ahead and you put something out there and you attach your journalistic credentials to it, wouldn't you at least like a real credible journalist is going to like go to the source to find out firsthand if what they saw was true or not. If or they go to the person directly to ask if they can print what they saw about that person. You know what I mean? Like, why would you just print
yeah,
something without getting confirmation from Gail Kim yourself directly? Like, she's not hard
right,
to get a hold
exactly.
of.
Right, exactly.
Holy
And
shit!
Jeffrey said it's for a quick buck and clicks. Yeah, well, I
And
mean,
I
yeah,
understand that to a point, but we're talking about Gail Kim. Gail Kim isn't somebody that's been in the news, who's been making a big name in the wrestling circuit for a while. Like, if you want, you must not really want very many clicks or views if you're making some shit up about a wrestler who hasn't wrestled in a number of years. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want clicks or views, maybe make something up about John Cena or somebody that's current, that's hot in the news right now. Like, just to make something up about a legendary wrestler who hasn't been in the ring in a number of years is goofy behavior.
yeah, it's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre.
Was he
It's
drunk?
very,
Like,
I
what the
don't
hell?
know. Uh, that's why I like saying Earl Cole, a well-renowned YouTuber who has a segment with Don Callis on AEW. Yeah, right. It's like
That's like he's
Jeffrey
saying
said.
that,
It's
Jeffrey, without asking Earl if that's what's going to happen or not. You know what I mean?
right, exactly. Yeah, like I would appear on Dynamite, and I'm going to appear with Don Callis and join the Don Callis family. I mean, what kind of club is that? First of all, I don't even know Don Callis. A, that's A. B, I don't know Tony Khan. And C, I don't work for AEW. So there's just no way that that's going to take place. And that's into my wildest fantasy. And that's way out of the box. That's way out of the box. So,
Gail Kim lit
uh,
that BJ Bethel up. There's um, a guy that's an agent, and I think he's an agent for wrestlers, but I think he's also has something to do with Hollywood. His name is Nick Piccolo or something like that. He's been lighting BJ Bethel up on Twitter all week long, man. Him and BJ Bethel have been going at it on Twitter, and this guy has been roasting the ever loving hell out of this BJ Bethel guy. And yeah, whatever BJ Bethel thought he was doing when he posted that story, I'm pretty sure he probably regrets it
oh,
now.
I mean, a fake journalist for a quick buck. Yeah, fake journalist for a quick buck. Yeah, absolutely. Um, okay, folks. Um, we're gonna get to story number 4, but folks, before we get to story number 4, I just want to give you a dial back about a quick second here. As you all know, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, before we close for tonight and we wrap everything up, we're going to rewind Australia, and we're going to rewind WWE and the Crown Jewel. Okay, but here's a piece of Crown Jewel because this ties into the story. If you all saw, Seth Rollins was in a match with Cody Rhodes. He went coast to coast with Cody Rhodes tie in the Tree of Woe. Now I have listened to every podcaster, and they missed the boat on several things. First of all, if you notice in the footage, when Cody Rhodes was hung up on the Tree of Woe, he explained this behind the scenes. His foot was about to slip off the top rope where he was hung upside down. So he was trying to adjust himself. When he tried to adjust himself, he lifted himself up about, I would say, about a quarter inch up. when he was supposed to be down. When Rollins, he did not communicate this to Rollins. Rollins went on the other side of the ring and told Cody Rhodes, I'm going coast to coast. Hang me here. So when Rollins went up to the top rope and he went coast to coast, Cody's foot was about to slip. He jerked himself up and Rollins landed awkwardly on the left shoulder, which popped out the shoulder, which destroyed the rotator cuff. Okay, folks. So now we have a conundrum. We go back to Raw in Australia, and the shocking thing that WWE had to do because behind the scenes he told Triple H and the writing team, "We've got a problem. My shoulder is killing me. I don't know what's wrong with it." Okay, so Triple H came up with this, and according to the PW Insider folks, this separation of the regime of Rollins is only temporary. And why I say it's temporary is because they had to come up with something to put Rollins out of action. So they have to do something. So Triple H came up with this idea on Raw to have the Vision attack Rollins and put him on the shelf. So this is the way they're going to play this story out. The Vision got tired of Rollins being their lackey and everything like that. They're going to come out and say that. And then they said, well, we're going to do everything on our own now, and we're going to go with Paul Heyman. So this is the story everyone is going to cook up. This is the way it's going to cook up. Now, we still don't know. We still don't know Rollins' extent of his injury. We still don't know that. He has to still be evaluated by the doctor, and then the doctor and the MRI and everything else. Now, this, again, like I said, most of you are coming out of the woodwork and not all of you, but most of you are talking about this is a work. This is not a work. Look back at the footage. Look back at the footage and see exactly what happened. Cody's foot was about to slip off. He raised up. Rollins went too low with the coast to coast and he damaged the left shoulder. So that's exactly what happened in the footage. Most of you didn't look back at it, but I did. And I studied it over and over again. So I don't have a problem with this whatsoever, but apparently, according to many multiple sources, this is not good news for Rollins because it looks like he will have to have shoulder surgery and it looks like he will have to relinquish the title. Now, if this is all true and this is what's going to happen, if he comes on Raw and he says, I'm going to relinquish the title, what do we do with the title being vacant? Well, we're going to do the same thing we did with Naomi. They're going to get somebody they're going to get somebody to wrestle for the vacated title. Now, from what I understand and for what WWE is thinking here, is that they're going to put that title, if it gets vacated, they're going to put the title on the line at Saturday night's main event in November 1st. So that means now Punk was supposed to do Saturday night's main event. He was supposed to take on Rollins. That is not going to happen now. That's a wash. So what's going to happen here is they're going to reward Punk. So what Punk's going to do is that if Rollins relinquishes the title, Punk will go to Saturday night's main event. He will fight the person for this vacated title, and they will give it back to Punk. That's exactly what they're going to do here, and I believe that's what the road they want to travel on. So again, like I said, because like I said earlier in the week, Punk never had a chance to have a title run. His title run ended in 5 minutes and 43 seconds at SummerSlam. So this is what I believe they're going to do. Hooligan, what do you think?
I have a lot to say about this, so you might want to brace yourself.
Okay.
Because I could get long-winded on this one. I like you. I knew now from personal experience when I was a teenager, I got thrown from a vehicle. Um,
Oh shoot! I'm sorry to hear
and
that.
when I hit the street, I landed on my shoulder exactly how Seth Rollins did, on the same exact shoulder. So when I'm watching Seth Rollins, first of all, who knew that Seth Rollins could fly like a fucking bird through the air? He went. I mean, I remember when Shane McMahon used to do the coast to coast, right? Because Rob Van Dam in ECW started that
Another
coast to
hill.
coast shit with the Van Terminator finisher that he would do. Then Shane
Right.
McMahon started doing the coast to coast with the chair, and Shane had even better leaping ability than Rob Van Dam did, and would make that coast to coast, and everybody would be like, "Whoa!" Seth Rollins. I've never in my life seen somebody jump from one turnbuckle and almost crash into the other turnbuckle. He jumped that far, so he's flying through the air, and I'm like, "Holy shit!" I didn't think he was going to hit him at first, and then I'm like, "Wait, most people lead that move with their feet." Seth Rollins did the coast to coast head first. I was so in awe of what he did. I was late to oh, he's coming up like holding his arm. Is he okay? So I went back and watched it multiple times as well, Earl. And when I watched him land on his shoulder, my immediate reaction was broken collarbone, because that's what happened to me when I got thrown from the vehicle. Um, and everybody was saying, "Oh, this is a work. This is a work." First of all, Seth Rollins faked that injury less than 3 months ago, right, with Punk. Why would he
Right.
do it again so soon? If he did,
Right.
wouldn't that make Punk look like a complete buffoon?
Right.
You know that
I
whole
again.
saying, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice,
Well.
shame on me."
Right.
Punk would look like the biggest tool if he fell for that again. So immediately I knew it wasn't a work, right?
Right.
I thought that Seth Rollins either popped his shoulder out or broke his collarbone, and I was screaming that to anybody who would listen. And everybody was saying, "No, this is a work. No." Anyways, so now we realize, after we've seen everything play out, this is most likely an injury, a serious injury that's going to keep Seth Rollins sidelined for a number of time. And if it's a rotator cuff and he has to have surgery and he's torn ligaments and stuff, he's probably not back before Mania. So that's a huge blow.
Yeah. Yeah. They're saying that he is expected to go. He is expected to undergo surgery as soon as possible.
Now here's the thing though, that
Uh.
here's a little caveat that I've not seen anybody talk about. He's supposed to face Cody Rhodes, correct?
Um. Where?
Oh no, no, never mind. He's facing CM Punk. Isn't
Right.
he supposed to face Cody Rhodes at some point though?
No, he did. He did take on Cody Rhodes. He did take him on in Crown Jewel. They were fighting for the Crown Jewel championship. And
Right?
the match, like I said, he had him caught in the tree of woe. And when he caught him in the tree of woe, he told Cody he was going coast to coast.
Right?
So instead of him going feet first, he wanted to give him a flying headbutt coast to coast. So when he does it, when Cody Rhodes lifted himself off to try to balance himself, he Rollins missed him by an inch, and he landed it squarely. You can
On his
clearly
shoulder.
see
Yeah,
it.
he
And
lands full fledged on his
you can
shoulder.
clearly see it as plain as day.
As soon as he
What
hit,
he
I knew
did.
something was wrong, because
Well,
that's
yeah.
exactly how I hit the pavement, just right on my shoulder. And when you land on your shoulder like that, you're either snapping your clavicle or you're popping your shoulder out of socket.
And let me tell you something. He said the pain was riveting.
Yeah,
He
let me
finished
tell
the
you, if you've ever
match.
broke your collarbone, holy smokes, it's god awful. I was on my show the other day talking about my broken collarbone injury regarding this Seth Rollins story. It's god awful. You can't do nothing. You can't sleep. You can't breathe. You have shortness of breath for weeks. You can't take a full breath.
Right.
It's excruciating. And I'm wondering, you remember when Cody came back to WWE and he tore his pec and then he fought Seth
Yeah.
Rollins in Hell in a Cell
Yeah.
anyway?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a
Yeah.
chance that Seth Rollins faces CM Punk anyway, injured?
Um. Not with the severity of this, because apparently he can't lift his arms. So I mean,
Yeah, and a torn muscle is
right.
different than torn ligaments. You can't exactly use your appendage if the ligaments
Right.
aren't there.
So I'm going to assume, and I'm going to safely assume that he's going to come on Raw, and he's going to have
And
to
relinquish
address the
it.
WWE. Yeah, and he's going to
Now
have to
here's
come
where
on
we
Raw.
disagree. So you think that
Yeah.
and I love that we finally I love that we're disagreeing about this because I'm excited to debate this part with you. You say that you think they're going to reward Punk with the title, right?
Yeah, it's a possibility, Hooligan. I'm not saying that it's a concrete done deal
Oh,
thing.
I know.
I'm not, I
I just
don't,
want to give my prediction for that because
yeah,
it's a little bit different than yours. Even though I see totally where you're coming from, and I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I just feel like if you look at what happened with Drew McIntyre last year, remember how
right,
he won the title for like 5 minutes and then CM Punk screwed him or whatever? Drew never got the
right.
title back. So that's what I keep thinking about because I've seen a couple people say that they think Punk's getting the title. I honestly feel like this was a blessing in disguise for Braun Breaker.
Yeah, well, let me just go to the chat for a second. And Jeffrey says, I'm surprised Seth Rollins took the bump on Raw from Bronson Reed. Well, he
That
had
was the
to.
one thing that messed me up because I was like, if he had a broken collarbone, why would he take a full fledged spear and then a tsunami? Because you can't even
Right.
breathe with a broken collarbone, and when you got 300 pounds pancaking on top of you, that's
Well,
gonna shift the bone out of place again. So I was like,
well, yeah. So
that was
I'm
tough.
gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, Jeffrey. He had to he had to take that bump so that this way that they could meld it into the storyline. He had to take that kind of bump. So if you saw in the video package on Raw, you saw the tsunami from the top rope. Bronson Reed shifted himself over and on top of Rollins so that he can land on the same bad shoulder. So that they can say that it was because of Bronson Reed. He put Seth on the shelf. So that's how they're going to do it. So you have to look at all of these little clues on what they're doing here and how they're putting it together. So yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I agree, Jeffrey. Yeah, exactly. Um, Seth should have done a drop. Yeah, I agree that. I agree with that. Hologram. I totally
And
agree.
I'm even thinking like at this stage of Seth's career,
When
was the
he
coast to
took the
coast even
tsunami,
needed? He didn't even really need to do the coast to coast. And
no, he
Seth
really
Rollins doesn't
shouldn't
do
have.
crazy, reckless moves like that. He's never been that kind of wrestler. So why at this
Well,
stage of the game he decided, hey, I'm going to do something no one's ever seen. I'm going to do a flying coast to coast headbutt. Holy smokes!
well,
I mean, it looked
if you,
amazing, but it was kind of
right.
unnecessary.
Yeah, well, if you look back on Raw, he kept saying in his promos, "I have to win this match by any means necessary. I have to win this match." It was a must for him to win this match. It
True.
was an absolute must because
Yep.
he was 3-0. He was 0-3 against Cody, and he couldn't go down to an 0-4 loss. So he had to do everything that he needed to do. He had to pull out all the stuff to neutralize Cody and to make sure that it ensured him that he win the match. And he did
Yep.
win the match, but he lost the war with his shoulder. Um when he took the tsunami, he was lifting the right shoulder barely up. Yeah, he was destroyed in the match. He was absolutely destroyed in the segment. Um,
He's a
on
tough
his
cookie,
face
man.
is
To
going,
take that spear
yeah,
from Braun Breaker and then a tsunami right after with an injury that's now at this point when I watched him do that, I'm under the assumption he's got a broken collarbone. So when he took that tsunami and that spear, I'm like, that's crazy because you can't even I mean you can't even breathe, let alone do any normal functionality throughout the day. And then
well,
you're gonna let two heavy guys do that to you back to back. I'm like,
right.
props to Seth, man. That's a tough that his pain threshold must be extremely high because whew,
Well, he
that
said
was
that he
crazy.
went through a lot, and again, like I said before, folks, this is not a work. If you
Mm-mm.
look at the picture that he took with a fan, he was wearing a sling.
Sling. That's when
He
I
was in a
determined he
sling,
broke his collarbone was when I saw that
and
picture, Earl, because that was the
he's
same
broke.
sling that I
Yep,
had.
yep. He was wearing a sling, folks. This is not good. This is not good. So we're gonna keep abreast of this, and we're gonna follow this story. And if any breaking news will happen, I'll make a short of it and I'll bring it to you.
I think
But
they should put the title on Braun Breaker.
well, here's another thing that could happen. Here's another scenario. They could dial back Gunther and Punk a rematch from SummerSlam and give the belt that way to Punk. They could do that. They could dial that back and could do that. Except for one thing though, Gunther is injured at this point, and he cannot. He won't be able to be in any shape to wrestle
Wait,
Punk.
Gunther's injured.
Hmm. He was injured at SummerSlam, so he's taking some time off to heal with those injuries. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, according to what this article says, WWE is tight-lipped about the injury. They won't reveal what the MRI showed or anything. They're not saying anything about this. So I'm going to keep a watch of this story, and if anything breaks, I'll let you know. But my feeling is that like I said, nothing is concrete here. Nothing is concrete. I can't say for severity what's going to happen. Um, King, thank you for the like. Thank you for the like, King. I greatly appreciate it. Um, Becky tweeted on Raw, "I'm gone 1 week." Okay.
Oh yeah, she was
Um,
saying I'm gone 1 week, and then basically like all hell breaks loose. She's not on the
right,
show one time, and look what
right,
happened.
right. So we're gonna keep abreast of this. We're gonna follow this story. All right, folks. Let's let's continue. Let us continue, shall we? Ringside news, WWE. Journey may have come to a sudden end, but this is okay. The stories about Tony Khan. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Crown Jewel, by the
Uh,
way, Crown Jewel was a great, great show, man. If you didn't get to see it, I suggest you try by any means necessary to watch
right.
that show. I mean, my God, the
Oh,
Cody
that's
and the
on
Seth thing was
Rollins.
great,
Okay.
but if there's one match you got to see from Crown Jewel, it's John Cena versus AJ Styles. My
Oh
Lord,
yes, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna rewind that. We're gonna rewind that. We're gonna talk about
I was
that.
listening to Dave LaGreca and Natalia today talk about it, and I've determined that there's never going to be a time where I hear that match get mentioned and I don't start crying. Like that match, watching any of the content creators in the space talk about that match since it's happened, within 10 seconds I'm crying like a baby. I'm not sure
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another wrestling match that's had me
Okay.
that strongly emotionally.
Right.
Maybe Shawn Michaels Undertaker, maybe Shawn Michaels Ric Flair for Flair's retirement. There's been a number of matches where I just get all choked up over, but this one I don't remember crying. Maybe a Macho Man match back in the way back in the day, but I don't remember a match making me cry like a baby like this one did.
Bray spot was my soft spot. Okay. Okay. Becky facing Maxine for the IC title. I'm guessing she's gonna be in the hometown of Sacramento, and
Oh yeah,
AJ
Maxine is
leading.
getting her title
Yeah.
shot. Good for her.
Yeah. Good for her. Yeah, she won
She's
by
finally
count
getting
out
over.
over
God bless her.
Becca. Yeah.
What a
Okay,
spot.
folks. Yeah. Okay. So let's continue with this next story. All right, folks. More cuts are reportedly coming to WWE's development system next week, according to the news report from Brian Alvarez. This follows a series of release on Friday that
Yeah.
included former NXT North American champion Wes Lee. Alvarez reports that the cuts are not budget related, but instead a way to open up the roster spot. If you're
Hmm.
not progressing fast enough or you feel that you don't have what it takes for the main roster, you're out to make room for someone new, he wrote. The list of talent departing on Friday included Stevie Turner, on-screen GM of Evolve brand, as well as Draco Knox, Jamar Hampton, Jin Hayes, Summer Sorrell, Braden BJ Ray, and they joined like Kylie Ray, Zeta Steel, and two WWE ID talent who were announced their departures last week. So if you all didn't hear, WWE has released all of these talent from last week. They are trying to trim the fat. And Wesley, I thought he had a good showing when he was on SmackDown, and I thought that I thought he was doing well in NXT. I thought he was thriving in NXT. I I didn't see any problems with him on camera. The
He
audience
was
seems to
he was
pop for.
thriving in NXT until Ricky Saints came in.
Yeah, well, and then right, and then that was the end of that. So they really didn't have anything creative for him,
Mm.
and they ran out
And
of
he had a
ideas.
lot of injuries too in NXT.
Yeah, yeah. So we wish Wesley and all the releases
Oh
good
yeah,
luck.
definitely. He's gonna go back to the Indies and kill it, and he'll be back with his former group, the Rascals, probably if he's not already. It'll be probably once his. I think he's only under a 30-day non-compete down in NXT. They only do 30-day non-compete, so he'll be back quickly.
Yeah, yeah. So we want to wish all the
But I
all the
kind of like
releases
that they
good luck.
did this cut. Like, I know it sucks when people get cut, but in this case, it's not budget related. So there's a couple of people, specifically one female that has really grabbed my attention on the indie scene over the last couple of, I'd say the last 2 months or so. And
Right.
I've tweeted at Triple H like, what, like, how is this girl gonna get a tryout? Is she on your radar? Like, guys, if you don't know who Nikki Blackheart is, go look her up on X. And she's got to be coming to WWE anytime. She's got to be on their radar. She has to be. This girl looks. This is like the
Desmond
reincarnation of China,
Xavier.
but on a different level.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm like, they need. There are people floating around out in the indie scene that probably could be ready for NXT tomorrow, let alone the main roster. And I feel like this Nikki Blackheart. I mean, she's got the look. She's got the what do the kids say nowadays? The aura. Um,
Yeah, the it
she's
factor.
yes. She's got it in spades, and I'm like, how is this girl not either in AEW or WWE? It's crazy. So
Yeah, she is good, Jeffrey. You're right.
maybe
She's good.
she's somebody, along with maybe some other names that WWE is trying to get to their
Oh
roster,
yeah,
and they
I know
couldn't
who she is,
because
bro.
there's too many people. And it
Yeah,
sucks.
she
But
lost.
these kids that are in Evolve and stuff, they're young. They're not. They're gonna get better, and we'll be seeing from them probably in the future. A year from now,
Yeah,
2 years from now. So
yeah.
everybody like tends to
Oh,
get all upset with WWE for making roster cuts and stuff. But this is the name of the game, man. I mean, if you've been watching pro wrestling for quite some time, you know how shit goes. So why people continue to get mad about the releases and stuff
yeah. I
is
don't. I
I
don't
don't understand
understand.
that.
I don't understand. You all have to understand something. When you are a wrestler and you work for a promotion, whenever you work for a promotion, they try their best to write you in storylines that make sense for your character and fit your persona.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: when you come out of that curtain and you don't spark with the audience, or you're putting the audience to sleep with a poor repertoire, or you don't have, or you make the opponent carry the match. That's not looking good on you. That's not looking
Mm-mm.
good on you at all.
Mm-mm.
And that is something that they frown upon behind the scenes. They don't like to see that,
Mm-mm.
especially sitting in Gorilla and knowing that they invested all their time and energy into you, and you're
Mm-mm.
not putting anything out back, tenfold. So that's the problem. That's the problem here. And now that I've tried to say that to people many times, but everybody keeps jumping down my throat. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to. you have to have some it factor to you. You have to have some wow, you have to have some impact to you in order for the audience to gravitate to you and
Mm-hmm.
like you and want to be with you. You know, it's just like if I run a wrestling promotion and Hooligan was my wrestler, and I told Hooligan, go out there and wow the audience, and all he gives me is less than 100%. He gave me 25. I can't do anything with that. I can't do anything with that. There's nothing I can do with it. What am
Well,
I
the
gonna
fans
do with
can't do
it?
nothing with that either, really.
No, no, you just can't. So you all have to understand. You have to understand that
It's the name of the
that's the
game. It's a
way.
dog eat dog world
No,
in the world of pro
right.
wrestling. And if you don't know what you're getting into, if you don't know the nature of the beast before you get into it, I mean, that's on you, I guess.
And Jeffrey made a great point. If you're not progressing enough in the ID program and PC, why would they keep you? Exactly, that's what I just said. That's exactly what I just said.
Yeah, it's a
That's
machine,
what I
you know?
said.
It's a machine and the wheels got to keep moving at all times. Otherwise, it falls apart and WWE
Right,
can't afford to take a day off. I mean, they can afford it. I don't mean literally, but in terms of how they operate their product and their business, it's constantly moving. It's never going to come to a standstill. So you got to either get on the train or get out the way.
right.
You know, and like I said, these kids ain't done. They're just starting. Like these guys in Evolve, all the names you read that got released, I don't know who the fuck any of them kids are. So give them some time.
No,
Like, you know, that great match. I don't know if I'm assuming you watched TNA Bound for Glory, and that match with Javon Evans and Leon Slater. Everybody's saying, you know, Brian Alvarez made some ridiculous tweet about how Javon Evans should have a main roster title, and I'm like, huh?
no,
He's 21
no,
years old. What the fuck are you talking about?
no.
Randy Orton is the
Sorry.
youngest champion ever, and he wasn't even 21 when he won the title. Like, the fuck are you
Right,
talking about?
right. Um,
Like, let some of these kids train and get better. I know, you know, everybody's like
you
in pro
can't push him
wrestling,
that
like,
far.
no, not that quick. Like a 21-year-old, like, he's still a kid. He's not matured enough mentally at this point of his life in order to bestow all the burden that comes with being the face of a pro wrestling company. You know what I mean? Let the guy acclimate to the world of pro wrestling and figure out what his main persona is going to be and what his um you know just give him time to develop, man. 21, I get he's great, and yes, he's the future of the business, but putting too much on these kids too quick is a lot of times how these wrestlers end up having epic crash outs in the business, and they disappear, and we don't, you know, we never see or hear from them again. And I don't want that for
Right.
Leon Slater, Javon Evans, or any of these young kids. Like, just let these guys develop. You know, yeah, yeah. It sucks
Right.
that a bunch of these kids got released, but they'll be
Mm,
back.
right. Earl, if you haven't watched it, do yourself a favor and watch that match.
What
What match
match?
is that? What match is that, Jeffrey? Thank you for that comment, but what match are you referring to? Um, Jeffrey says Leon Slater, 21, 21, he's youngest X Division champion. Oh, okay.
Oh,
All
the X
right.
Division title that he won. That championship match. Yeah, that was a good match too.
Yeah. Okay, folks, let's get to this story here. ESPN, ESPN, ladies and gentlemen. ESPN says that they gave Crown Jewel a final grade of a B. The show had, this is what ESPN says. A show that stumbled out of the gate with relatively tame street fight and far too brief fights between women's championships were rescued by an absolute stellar match between Cena and Styles and puts an
Hmm.
excellent bookend to their rivalry. Rollins finally getting his comeuppance against Rhodes by any means necessary. And the women's tag team match was both strong and anchored in a memorable bounce back for WWE after a poor showing at WrestlePalooza.
Yeah.
So, so if you all don't know, the relationship so far with ESPN and WWE has not been a good one. A lot of fans are complaining about how they paid so much money for the app, and they keep cutting off the matches with commercials and
Hmm.
everything like is so. A lot of people are complaining about this, and this is what I'm gonna say. If you have the Disney package, if you have the Disney package, which includes Disney Plus, Hulu, and the ESPN app. Unfortunately, those free apps are going to be riddled with commercials. Now,
Yep.
if you want to not get the free app and you want to pay for it, you can pay extra and get the commercial-free version of the app. But ESPN is always going to have commercials because it's a national television company, and they are seen globally all over the world, and they are always full of commercials. If you look on cable and look on ESPN, they always have commercials, whether it's baseball, basketball, boxing, whatever they're showing on ESPN, they're always going
ESPN shows
to.
more commercials than they do actually sports related content. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing, folks. So it's either you
Gotta
live by
appease
the
all their
sword or you
sponsors.
die. What was that? I'm sorry. I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They have to appease all their sponsors, the people that the
Right,
companies that are
exactly.
paying for
Ex-
the advertising time.
Exactly. So, um, let me see. Thank God for Netflix. Yeah,
Hey,
Netflix.
Netflix
Well,
has a
my
shitload of commercials too if you don't have the right bundle.
Right. Yeah. I have Netflix and I watch Raw, and unfortunately, I can't afford the free the commercial free app
They
of
just raised their
Netflix.
price
So
of Netflix to for the commercial free
right.
to $30 a month.
Yeah, so I can't afford that. I can't afford that, Jeffrey. So I have to deal with the commercials. That's why when I go live with Raw, I tell the fans I'm going to commercial now and I will be right back.
You
There's
know,
nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do about it.
for all the bad things that we know Vince McMahon has been accused of and that he's capable of doing and all the negatives surrounding that man, I will say this. He definitely absolutely knew what he was doing. Like, just go back 10 years ago. How good were we eating with the WWE network when we had that app for
Yeah,
9.99 a month? Was
yeah,
that not the greatest? That's got to
yeah.
be one of
It
the
was.
greatest values in television entertainment history that we had that app. I wish they would give
And
us that back so bad. I really do.
yeah, I really do because to go back and forth between Peacock, ESPN, and everything, and the thing is just that it's just not fair to the
You know what
fans
the problem
because
was, Earl, with the WWE app? Do you want to know my take
yeah,
on why it didn't last?
right,
Vince McMahon sometimes is so smart, he's almost too smart for his own good. And I think had he waited 10 years and now come out with the WWE app, I think that thing would be gangbusters now. I think it came out a little too early when we were at a time where not everybody was streaming. Like the whole world's gone to live streaming now. I get that
right.
WWE wanted to be the trendsetter and they were the first ones out the gate to do something like that, but it also kind of screwed them over because wrestling is such a niche product, right? It's not just movies or television shows. So if they would have just waited, maybe, let's say, because you couldn't have predicted that the pandemic was going to happen, but let's say they waited till after the pandemic and then released the WWE network, I think man, that app would be on fire right now.
You're absolutely right, Hoolan. I'm not arguing with that fact. But this thing with ESPN, this thing, and hold on, thank you again for your comments. I greatly appreciate you. I respect your mind
Thank you, bro, for
for
letting me speak.
wrestling. Yeah, it really makes my heart grow fonder when we talk about wrestling here. Let me just say this, folks, and I'm just gonna just say this, and this is my take on this. This ESPN thing and the way WWE is pricing out the poor and everything else. This is going to start to snowball. The fans are going to really start to sour on this, and Raw is suffering in ratings right now on Netflix, and so is SmackDown. And you want to know why? It's because they keep running back the same people, week after week after week, month after month after month, week after week. Every Raw that I have seen so far, every Monday Night Raw. I have seen, and I'm being honest here. I'm being perfectly honest. Every Raw main event has to have division in it. Why do we need division on Raw main event? You need something fresh and something new in the cook pot. You have to come out of outside the box. Division doesn't need to be on Raw every week. They
Mm-mm.
don't need to be on Raw every week. And that's what's killing the ratings because it's like you run the same matches back we had last week. You can't tell me that you can't tell me you cannot write a 2 hour weekly episodic television show every week and you can't think outside the box. You gotta think of something else to run to the audience. Because the last time I did Raw and the last time I broadcast Raw on my channel, I was completely bored with it because it was just I've seen this already. Why do we gotta keep dialing it back? Why do we got to keep dialing it back? And I shudder to think I don't want them to do this because when you're on a new app and when you're on a new platform, all eyes are watching you. So you have to understand here that you have to do something outside the box to keep the audience happy and to keep your investors happy. Because if you don't do that, what's going to happen is all those stellar sellouts that you were doing when the Triple H era was going on, they're going to start to go down in numbers. And people are not going to start showing up because they're going to know exactly what you're going to run out here in the curtain. We already seen this already. We've seen this 3 weeks in a row already. So I hope that WWE is starting to sit back and think and really think about what they're doing here because these new platforms they're not going to take too much or take too kindly to you running back the same matches every week, and then they look at the numbers and they're like, "What the heck is going on here?" They can't have it. They can't have it, and that's my fear with WWE. I don't want to see them fail on Netflix, and I don't want to see them fail anywhere else. But you have to think of outside the box. You gotta be fresh. You gotta be fresh.
Well, I
And
don't
if you
think they're
don't,
gonna fail on Netflix because I think Netflix put too much money into them. They're
yeah,
stuck on Netflix for for a while at least. I think.
yeah, no, I know, I understand that, Ruben. I'm just saying, I have a fear,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a fear of that because I mean, if you look at ticket prices now,
Mm-hmm.
okay, Saturday night's main event in Washington D.C. sold out within a day. All right, it sold out within a day, even though people paid a lot of money for the seat to see John Cena final appearance ever in Washington. Um,
There's still a queue.
yeah,
If you go try to buy tickets, there's still a queue of people trying to get a ticket for Saturday night's main event.
well, what
There's a
I
queue of
understand
over.
here,
There's a queue of like 50,000 people or something like that.
well, I wish them the best of
Why
luck as
didn't
a
they?
from what I.
If there's a queue, the shit is sold out, and then there's a queue of people still waiting, hoping that somebody cancels or gives up their ticket so that they can get a ticket. Right? If there's a queue on top of a sold out show of 50,000 people, why didn't WWE put John Cena's final match? Like, why didn't they make a PLE out of that and fill up a whole entire arena like a football stadium?
I'm glad that you say that. I'm glad that you said that because somebody on Twitter said the exact same thing you just said. Somebody on Twitter said the same thing, and I don't know who said it. I can't remember the person's name, but I read it, and I agree with that. With that, the only problem is the weather factor.
Oh, true.
in December. That's the problem. Because let's say, for example, they go and they put in an RFK Stadium outside of Washington, okay? And all of a sudden, a snowstorm comes over
Yeah,
Washington.
and I get that.
We're screwed.
Yeah, and I get
Um,
that, but you didn't have to book. You didn't have to book Washington D.C. I mean, you could
yeah,
have booked it
well,
somewhere where there's a stadium with a roof on it. You know what I mean?
well, I don't know. That's what
Yeah, and then it should
WWE
have been
did.
exactly, Jeffrey. That would have been so money.
Oh,
Call it the PLE ruthless aggression. That would have been perfect.
yes, that would have been perfect, Jeffrey. Great analogy, great thought by you, Jeffrey. You get the thought of the
It could have been
night.
just a one-off, right? Just a special edition
Right,
PLE, never to be had again, and title it something that
right,
and it would have been a perfect tie-in to Cena's career because that's when he came in during the ruthless aggression era. I like that,
right.
Jeffrey. That was a great idea.
That's a brilliant
That was
idea.
brilliant.
That was brilliant, Jeffrey. I'm not arguing with that. I'm
Sometimes
not arguing with
WWE
that.
is like, yeah, they just leave me scratching my head. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, John
I
Cena's
know.
retirement match is he's got 4 appearances left. Technically,
Right.
you could have probably booked all the last 4 of his appearances
Mm.
and made him bigger shows. I get that you got to have him on Raw a couple of times, but his last 2 appearances, one is at a Survivor Series, and then Saturday night's main event, which isn't really. I know it'll be treated like a PLE, but it's not really a PLE. So I just feel like they could have done. Oh man, Cena! I was so excited at the beginning of the year, Earl, for what they were going to do with Cena's retirement run, and it's just been so marred by stuff, man. I think
I'm
sometimes
I'm
WWE just gets in their own way. Sometimes.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I have another story about John Cena's retirement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Um,
And by the way, yes, Jeffrey. I think Jericho. Somebody had a good idea that you could bring Jericho in as the leader of the Vision.
yeah, do you think Jericho will show up? His AEW contract is, well, we're gonna have to see
He'll
about
be at the
that.
Rumble. He'll be at the Rumble.
Yeah, that's what everyone is saying.
The Rumble or Mania. It depends on if he's going to have a 90-day no compete. I'm assuming he's going to have a 90-day no compete though.
Right. Um, just give me a second, folks. I have to do something
Also,
quick
his
here.
Jericho's what's that cruise he books every year?
Oh, the Jericho cruise.
There's no AEW talent scheduled for his
No,
cruise.
no. Mm-mm.
There's no AEW wrestlers booked, so that's how you know right there that he's coming to WWE. Of course he is.
Yeah. According to the PW Insider, many insiders of WWE have said that the John Cena retirement tour has been not living up to what WWE had hoped for. The
It's
retirement
WWE's
tour,
fault.
yeah, the retirement tour has been lackluster with poor bookings. As many fans have said over the internet that this is not good for WWE. John Cena should have been treated better, says one fan. Another fan says that how come WWE didn't think outside the box and sat with Cena and picked the opponent accordingly. Many fans who showed up at some of Cena's events were thoroughly disappointed in the booking and how the matches were produced.
Yeah,
So
and
here's
Earl,
the thing.
can you go back real quick and read the beginning of what you started? Can you read just the first couple of lines for me again?
Sure, the PW Insider says here that many of insiders inside WWE's brass have said that the John Cena tour has been lackluster
Okay, you can stop
and
there.
not
You
living.
can stop there.
Okay,
So has been lackluster, as if they almost saying that like the fans are to blame for it. Hey, we've showed up. We've showed up for Cena. Like if you look at all the shows that Cena was a part of, just look at Crown Jewel. Everybody in the crowd was wearing a John Cena shirt. It was like when you go to your
right,
local basket NBA team or your local NFL
right.
team game and everybody's got the merch on. I've never seen anybody in a wrestling. I've never seen an entire arena all wearing the same shirt at a wrestling show. It was the craziest thing. Everybody has turned out in droves for John Cena's retirement tour. This is solely on WWE.
Yeah, I agree with you. Ulam. I agree. They dropped the ball here. They dropped the ball
There's been good
here,
things about it,
and
but by and large, and
yeah,
did
there
you
has
see
been
who popped
good
up on
things.
Did you see who
Go
popped up
ahead.
on a podcast the other day on Twitter? The Rock. Do you see?
Yeah,
Like 3 days ago?
yeah.
And there's a clip of him floating around saying that he's got a small say-so in Cena's final opponent. Why would you even say that after what you did to screw up this whole storyline up all back at
And
WrestleMania?
right, and another thing too is, and here's the thing too, the heel turn of Cena was a bust. It was a complete bust.
It would have
The
worked if The
heel.
Rock would have showed up. All he had to do was show up at Mania. That's all he had to do.
The heel turn for Cena, this is just my opinion, folks. If you think it was the stellar thing, oh, okay, I'm not going to challenge you on it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not saying you're wrong. Okay, everyone has an opinion, and I respect it. Okay, but my feeling is this: the heel turn was a bust. It was a complete bust because it was missing critical elements to it. And Hooligan brought up the first element was The Rock. The Rock should have been involved in the heel turn from Jump Street. The minute he turned heel, The Rock should have been put in the element of the storyline, and he should have been included in the heel turn, and
I
he
still
should
want
have
to know
been.
how The Rock got John Cena to side with him after their whole epic feud that they had 10 years ago. You know what I mean? How did you get John Cena, who used to come out every week and bury your ass? How'd you get him to turn on everybody and side with you?
Yeah, and I agree with what Jeffrey said. Yes, the execution was fine, um,
There was no
Jeffrey,
follow up.
but
That's the problem. It was just
yeah,
John
but
Cena told his soul to the devil, and that was that, and we had to accept it. Nobody said why.
right. Like I said, the turn was fine, but the way they did it and the way they pushed it and the way they produced it was really not good. Was really not good. And the thing is that I wasn't a fan of it anymore. After a while, it was all right in the beginning, but then for me, it just didn't resonate with me anymore. It just didn't do it for me. There
No,
was
because
some
he
critical.
was coming out to no music. He was coming out to a black screen.
Right, right, right.
And it was like, this isn't what the fans wanted to see from Cena. We wanted him to come out as the doctor of thugonomics again. At least, if hey, and he's got 4 appearances left. If he doesn't come out on one of these appearances to his old theme with a sideways basketball cap, jersey, and cutting a battle rap promo as the doctor of thugonomics, we have to get John Cena as that gimmick one more time in one of these appearances. We have to.
I don't know, folks. I don't know.
I don't think we're gonna.
By the
But
way,
man,
by
I
the
can't.
way, folks. And by the way, folks, just to let you know, I just got this across the media here. Apparently, WWE has officially announced that Seth Rollins will be pulled from the Osaka show, and he will be pulled from the other Japan shows that WWE is currently on. So
Wait,
Rollins
they're in
was sent
Japan.
home. Yeah.
When has WWE ever done a Japan tour?
They apparently they started it while after Monday, I believe. Yeah.
Because they flew from Perth, they probably go to Japan and then making their way back to
Right,
the West Coast
right,
because I think they're going to be in
right,
California for Raw.
right, exactly.
That's
So,
interesting. I don't remember ever hearing about WWE doing shows in Japan.
yeah, well, they did,
Oh,
they did, they did. So Rollins has been pulled from the tour, and that's going to be the end of that.
yeah, makes sense.
Um, so getting back to Cena, getting back to Cena. I just hope, like Hooligan said, he has 4 dates left. Put him in some kind of put like the thugonomics. I absolutely like that. I think that gimmick is absolutely great. Ruthless aggression is another one that you need to put him into. Just make the last 4 shows as lively as you can possibly do.
They got
Now,
to be memorable.
everyone,
They have
yeah,
to
it's
be
got to be
memorable.
memorable.
How many
Now,
wrestling matches out of his last 4 appearances do you think we're getting from John Cena? Of his last 4 appearances, how many wrestling matches do you think we're seeing?
not too many of them. Like I would say so because he does have a match at the Survivor Series that's already been booked.
Right,
He's
so we're
already
getting at
been
least
booked.
one, right? But do you think we're getting any more?
Right,
Oh, yeah, because Saturday night's main event, so we have to have
right,
two more.
exactly.
So we have to
Right.
have at least two more. But do you think we get a 3 or 4 matches out of the last 4 appearances?
I don't know what the WWE is going to do. I don't know what they're going to do. I
Four
have no
appearances isn't
idea.
really enough to build one match, let alone 2 matches. You know what I mean?
But
I don't know.
oh, we're gonna have to wait and see about that, folks. But that's the story. Okay, folks, that was wrestling news. That was wrestling news, folks. That was wrestling news. All right, folks, we're going to rewind Crown Jewel. We're going to rewind Crown Jewel, and we're
That's
going to
such
have
a good
fun with
show.
this. We're going to have fun with this. And
I
all
love
right,
when
so
a B
let's.
level pay per view is amazing. I love it. It doesn't happen very often, and it's one of my favorite things about WWE is when they do a show that you're not really. You kind of are expecting for a B level pay per
What
view.
is it?
You're
What's it?
expecting to get B level quality, right? So when they
Edge.
give you A level quality, I love it, and I feel like ESPN wasn't. I mean, a lot of people agreed with their rating of a B, but I didn't agree with it. I thought that they were a
That's a
little
lot
harsh.
of trying.
I thought Crown Jewel was an A show.
Yeah, I gave the show, folks. I gave the show a B plus. I gave the show a B plus,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed it from soup to nuts. I didn't see any. The only thing that really hurt my heart was to see Rollins getting hurt like that in the match. I really that broke my heart. And like I said, I don't like to see anybody getting hurt in wrestling. But as I said before, I say it again, folks, wrestling isn't ballet. It really isn't. And these bumps that these people take in the ring is hellacious, and it takes a toll on the body and everything else. All these bumps that they take every night. So you have to be a little. You have to have sympathy and empathy for these wrestlers and what they go through on a daily basis to entertain you. And that's all I have to say about that. Um, Jeff Hooligan said he should have still. He should have said no. Oh yeah, on Edge. Yeah, that's a great point.
Because
And Jeffrey
Jeffrey,
said
yeah, go ahead.
agreed. He said agreed. He should have stayed. Yeah, I agree with both your points. I agree
I
with
was
both your
responding to
points.
Jeffrey because he had said that Edge should have been Cena's last match.
Yeah, do
I'm
you
glad
agree
that
with?
Edge isn't Cena's last match. I'm happy for that, actually. I don't want to see because what what I've seen from Edge in AEW versus what I've seen from John Cena this year, Cena can still go at a decent level. I don't feel like Adam Copeland can.
No,
Or Adam Copeland has not been giving his all in AEW. Now, there could be that side to it. I don't know what it is, but what I've seen from Edge in AEW is just, I don't know, bro. It's not been. He don't look like
I mean,
himself to me. I'm watching this guy,
yeah,
and I don't see the Edge that I once loved. I just see a different.
yeah. Well, people slow down in age, and
And
then
I know that. I get that.
so you have to know they have to protect themselves at all times.
Think about that match with John Cena and AJ Styles. You're not gonna get a match like that with Edge and Cena. You're just not.
No, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay, folks. So the first match we're going to talk about is the street fight. Is the Australian street fight. It was Big Bronson Reed taking on Roman Reigns. The match was fine. The match was fantastic. The match was a rose thrower. The match was
Great.
fine. It was fantastic. I'm gonna
That
tell you
crowd
this
was
much.
lit, man. What a great way to start
Yeah,
that show.
yeah. The crowd was hot for it. The Australian crowd loved a street fight, and it was done correctly. It was
Hmm.
done correctly and produced correctly, and that is something that I like to see. And there was a clean finish of the match, which I like to see. So yeah, the match, like I said, the match was great. I gave the match a straight A across the board for me. The match gets an A, and it was great. Now on an entertainment level, I gave the match a 10. The match
Wow.
gets a 10. The
Wow.
match gets a 10. The
That was
match gets a
that's high praise coming from you. I don't know if I've ever
you,
seen you rate anything a 10 in the time that I've been doing
you,
this show with you.
yeah. The match gets a 10. The
Wow.
match gets a 10. And
That's
I
impressive.
absolutely loved it. I souped up every nuance, every blow, everything that these two men did to each other. This was
Mhm.
absolutely great. This was great. Well, what did you think of the match itself?
Um I thought it was a great, obviously, because Roman Reigns has always had that creed. If he doesn't end the show, then he starts the show. There's no middle ground, right? So he's not going to be on last. So what a great way to kick off the show. Everybody gets up for Roman Reigns. I mean, that crowd when he came out was like, oh shit. By the time that match was over, I was saying to everybody, um, to my chat, I was saying, maybe this match should have gone on last with the way that crowd was, because shoot, how are you going to follow that, right? Because when you start a show with that caliber of a match, it's like, well, good luck everybody else.
Right.
I mean, I was so hyped during that match. When it was over, it was like, oh, you know how like when you've watched a pay-per-view and you get to a match after you've had a handful of them, and then you're just
hmm
so into it, and then by the time that match is over, you feel kind of drained, and then there's like one or two more matches left, and then that you just kind of don't feel as energetic as you did. I thought that
Right.
that was going to happen with the crowd after Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed after the first match. I'm like, oh, everybody's going to be winded and not into the other matches because they gave everything right out of the gate. But I'm happy I was wrong about that. But that match delivered. I mean, it was so good. And to your point, I know that I saw a lot of they buried Roman Reigns. You cannot. It's
No.
it's actually impossible to bury Roman Reigns at this point in his career.
No. No. No, you're
It's
right.
impossible. You could have Roman
And
Reigns
it's not a
lose
look.
every single match until he retires, and you will not. He's unburyable. You cannot bury Roman Reigns
Yeah,
at this point.
listen. A lot of fans were upset that he lost the match. But listen, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The vision needed to go over in this match. You can't. Bronson Reed already lost in a pay per view already, so you can't have him lose again. You couldn't have had him lose again. That is unheard of in wrestling. That's unheard of. You can't give him two L's in the match. I mean, in a PLE.
And think about
So,
this: there's
and
no title on the line, right? But what
right,
does that win
exactly.
do for Bronson Reed? It's huge
Bragging
for
rights.
Bronson Reed because he's now in an elite group of only like less than five people that can say in this run that we've had of Roman Reigns for the last 7 years have
They
pinned
pinned
him
him.
clean.
Right, and he pinned him clean in the match,
Pinned him
which is
clean.
right. Roman could,
That's a
yes,
huge rub for
exactly.
Bronson Reed. That actually, in my opinion, Roman doing that for Bronson Reed automatically puts Bronson Reed up into the top tier now.
Yeah, and then and then here's the thing. Here's the thing that I want to say to folks. People were like, "Well, he should have won the match." No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because you don't want to make Roman Reigns look like I'm the star here, and everybody's supposed to fall at my feet. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. He could take an L. It's not going to ruin his star power.
Well,
He
and
can
think about
take the
this.
L.
Think about this. We had like 6, 7 years of Roman
Right,
taking wins from everybody. He wouldn't take an L.
right,
So at
right,
this stage of his game, now it's being reported, Roman's probably only got a couple of years left, if that. If that's true, I would think most of his matches are going to be spent putting others over, since he had so many years of getting so many
right.
wins.
And I think the fans would have soured on it if he hogged the match and didn't put Bronson Reed over and gave him a kind of a spotlight pie. I mean
Hmm.
that would have not looked good. That one
because
has looked
they're
good.
highlighting Braun Breaker every week, right? With him coming down the ramp and spearing everybody at full speed, and just
Right,
the aura around Braun Breaker is so great already. He doesn't need really a rub from Roman Reigns. Bronson
right,
Reed needs something to help him look equal to Braun Breaker, right? Well, pinning Roman Reigns clean, destroying Roman Reigns with tsunamis. I mean, it's perfect. It did exactly what it
yeah.
needed to do. It was a holy shit
Um,
from the crowd. It was like, oh my God, we didn't see that coming. And now
right.
Bronson Reed looks like an equal to Braun Breaker. He doesn't look less
All
than.
right. Exactly. All right, folks. So that was that match.
Yeah, that was a
Let's
great
talk
opening match.
about.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Look. Let's think of that. Let's talk about this. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky took on the Kabuki Warriors.
Rio,
Now
they're
this
calling him. Now we got a Rio
Rhea.
in WWE.
Io Sky.
WWE's Rio is better than
Yeah. Okay.
AEW's Rio.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. My mistake. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley took on the Kabuki Warriors. The match was about. It almost lasted 20 minutes.
I was
And I
surprised
remember.
actually that they gave him the amount of time that they did.
Yeah, they did. This match was okay. The match was
I
all right
liked
for
it.
what it was. I had no issues with the match whatsoever. Um,
I love all four of these women.
Io Sky is being bullied all over the place by Asuka, and she
Uh-huh.
got tired of it, and she brought Rhea Ripley in the match. And you know, Rhea Ripley is the son of Australia, so everything shines on her. And I knew that they were going to win the match. I absolutely knew that that was going to happen. And the match was entertaining. The match was entertaining as heck, and I absolutely loved it. It was a good tag team match for what it was. And I'm going to give this match on the entertainment level a 9.5. The
Okay.
match gets a nine. The match gets a 9.5, and that's the best I do with it. But it was good. It was good for what it was. It was really, really good. I get it, Ulla. Yeah, you do. Yes, absolutely, Jeffrey. Um, so yeah, the match gets a 9.5. Hooligan, what did you think of this match?
I absolutely love anything. Like if you look at my Twitter, I kind of have this obsession a little bit right now with Io Sky for the last couple of years. She's been my favorite in the women's division for a long. Yes, dude. I love Io Sky. I loved Asuka in it when Asuka joined NXT. I had never seen a female wrestler quite anything like Asuka, and then
Right.
unfortunately Vince McMahon got his hooks into her on the main roster, and
Yeah, yeah.
that or off.
Well, we know. Yeah, we all know what he
Then
did.
you get
Yeah.
Io Shirai coming into NXT, and she, from the time she joined NXT, man, she has just continued to prove to me that she is the female workhorse of the division. I know she had a shitty title run earlier this year, but she carried the women on her back when wrestling at the beginning of this year was ass. Um,
Right.
Rhea Ripley obviously is so good. She can do no wrong in my eyes. Io can do no wrong. Asuka can do no wrong. I love Kairi Sane. This match was great. Um, a, a little bit different than what you said though. I thought the Kabuki Warriors could have really used the win here. Now,
Yeah.
WWE already had Bronson Reed, who was a hometown boy, get the win, and WWE doesn't usually let the hometown hero win the match, right? But I kind of figured Bronson would because he was heel. I didn't expect to have Rhea Ripley also win in Australia. So I was thinking the whole time, okay, the Kabuki Warriors, because if you look at Asuka's character right now, she's just I mean, she's in a fit of rage every time we see her. She's verbally abusing
Right.
Kairi Sane, she's screaming at Rhea.
That's what I'm saying, Hooligan. This was what I call booking justice. Because
Mhm.
here's the thing, she's been attacking Io, and then she sprayed the mist.
Yeah.
There was just no way that you could have the Kabuki Wars go over Asuka and I mean the Kabuki Wars going over Rhea Ripley and Io Scott. You just couldn't have that happen.
Yeah.
And
No, I'm not.
I
I'm not
shouldn't.
in like. I'm not upset at the outcome. It actually shocked me because I was sitting there watching the match and loving the match, but in my mind, I'm waiting for the Kabuki Warriors to win because that's what I legitimately thought was going to happen. So when uh and how awesome of Rhea Ripley being the hometown girl to allow Io to get the pin victory and not take that for herself. I thought that was really commendable on Rhea Ripley's part. So the ending of this match completely had me shocked in a good way because I did not see Io and Rhea winning, let alone Rhea allowing Io to get the pin victory. That really shocked me, and
Right,
I was really impressed with that.
right. Um, Chris says, hi, Earl. Hi, Chris. How's it going tonight? How's it going? Thank you for watching the wrestling experience. Please make sure that you hit the like button and you subscribe today and share. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you all for watching the wrestling experience. My name is Earl Cole. That is Hooligan. And welcome aboard tonight. Make sure that you hit the like button, folks. Make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe and you share. And thank you so much for watching the wrestling experience. All right, folks. All right. Um. Oh, before I go to the next match, Hooligan, let's just dial it back for a second.
Okay.
The street fight
Yes.
on an entertainment level. What level do you give this match?
The opening match for Crown Jewel.
Yeah. Yes.
I would give it. I'd give it a nine. A nine.
Okay. All right.
It was.
All
I mean, the
right.
crowd. There's so much aura with Roman Reigns. I mean, people are screaming at the top of their lungs just in anticipation, waiting for his music to hit. You know what I mean? And then his music hits, and all hell breaks loose. I mean,
Yeah.
the crowds erupt for this guy. How can you
Yeah.
not? How can you not just jump out of your seat and just be like, yeah, like it was awesome. It was totally
Yeah.
great way to. It was a perfect way to kick off the show.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with Hooligan's assessment.
That match got the
Oh,
crowd into it. The crowd never died. The
nope,
crowd
no,
never
they
died.
didn't. All right, with the Rhea Ripley Io Sky versus
Wasn't that match
Kabuki Wolf.
though? Wasn't that the second women's match?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
We
Um,
we had we
we
had
had two women's matches. We had two.
Tiffany
We're
and
gonna get
Stephanie,
to the
right?
other one. Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a minute. Um,
Because I remember
w- w-
Rhea and Io were in the death spot after Cena and Styles, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, they were in the piss break spot, and I was like, "Oh, this is not gonna this ain't gonna end." Like I felt bad that they were in that spot, and credit to those women because that match was so entertaining that nobody got up to go take a piss.
Right. On an entertainment level, Hooligan, what do you give the Rhea Ripley Io Sky match?
8.5, 8.5.
All right. All right. So, folks, that is Hooligan's entertainment level, and that is my entertainment level. All right, let's continue.
You said 9, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gave the match a 9.5. I gave the match a nine and
I
a
would have given it a
half.
9, but like I said, I was expecting and I felt that the Kabuki Warriors needed the win. But that's I mean that's apples and oranges at this point. The match was great regardless. I was okay with whoever won it. I was just actually genuinely surprised that they let Rhea win in her home country because WWE doesn't
Right,
usually do that.
right, exactly. Okay, folks. We had Stephanie Vacour. Stephanie
Vaca.
Vacour. And she took on, it's Tiffy
It's
time.
Tiffy time.
It's Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton. The match was fine. The match was all right. And I kind of knew that they were going to give the ring and the belt to Stephanie because she is on a roll. She is on a roll and on a tear as champion. And this is the thing, I absolutely love breakout stars. I absolutely love them. I think she is great. That Devil's Kiss is one of the most popular things that everyone is doing, and that everybody
Ah,
likes when she
ah,
does,
ah, ah,
especially
ah.
Mr. Booker T. Especially Mr.
You know
Booker
what's
T.
great about the way normally Booker T to me is insufferable on the mic in NXT, but
Stephanie,
the way he started
oh,
calling the
yeah,
Devil's Kiss, if you noticed when
yeah,
Stephanie does that move, everybody in the audience, they don't count like 1, 2, 3 or go ooh ooh ooh. They do it every time she slams her knees on the mat. They go ah ah, just like Booker T does on the mic
no,
every
no,
time.
because it fits. It
Mm-hmm.
fits. It fits the move. It fits.
I was
And
actually
even I
surprised at
do
that.
it some I do it sometimes when
Mm-hmm.
she's on Raw and she's in the match. And I do it sometimes. I get lost in the moment and do it. I do. It's fun for me to do it. What did Jeffrey says? Yeah, yeah, they even do too. Yeah, they do that all the time, Jeffrey. They do it all the time. Okay, so the match was fine for what it was. I liked it. I had no issues with it whatsoever. Stephanie gets the ring, she gets the belt. Triple H comes in the ring and puts the belt around her waist. She says a few words to the audience, and the pyro goes off, and she wins the match. She wins the match over Tiffany Stratton. I had no problem with it. And on an entertainment level, I'll give the match an 8. The match gets an 8. The match gets an 8. And that is what I'm going to give it in entertainment level. Hooligan, what did you think of the match itself?
Oh boy, I don't think people are
And
gonna like
and
my comments.
and please give me your entertainment level.
I don't think people are gonna like what I have to say.
You
But
didn't
that
you
being
didn't you didn't
said,
like it?
no, I liked it, but this is so I've been a little more what's unapologetic, a little more harsh in my critiquing of one Stephanie Vaquer. Do you
Okay.
realize, Earl, that she's barely been on the main roster for one calendar year? And in that
Yes.
calendar year, she has won both major NXT women's championships.
Yes,
And
yes.
she's also, when have you seen a woman win so many titles in a calendar year? In her
Well,
first calendar year at that. Just tell me. I'll wait.
well no, I haven't. I can't
Now,
recall.
if this was a man, if this was a male character who didn't have any voluptuousness and he came in and everybody was like, "Who's this?" And then we start getting wowed by their ability week after week. Even then, if you put that
She's
many
won four
titles on a
belts so far,
person that
right?
fast, 4 major titles within a year and they're a rookie, come on, man. Nobody gets that treatment. Nobody gets that treatment, nor should they. So I have a big problem with one. I've been calling her Stephanie Reigns because this is like she's already to me feeling like the push of the big dog from like 2017. I'm like
Well,
and now you mark my words, Earl. I give it to about SummerSlam next year. So many people are going to be so sick and tired of Stephanie Vaquer because what does WWE do when they have a good thing? They beat it
they ruin it.
to death. And I feel like that's what they're already doing with this girl. They realized that the whole wrestling world really is a fan of this girl, so they're pushing her to they're fuck the moon. They're going to a different galaxy with this girl. I mean, she's getting a push like I've never seen anybody get a push before. And
Well,
be
you gotta
careful.
understand.
I know she's the flavor. I know she's the flavor of the year, and she's a breakout star. But just like I was saying about Javon Evans, you don't want to give too much too fast because that's going to create a whole can of worms down the line in the future. It really is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have given Stephanie Vaquer the WWE Women's Championship already. Fair enough if you're going to have her win Crown Jewel, I would have been okay with that. But to have her win Crown Jewel, the WWE Women's Championship, the NXT Women's Championship, the North American Championship, uh, I think there's one more title in WWE she held. Did she not? Did she hold the US
No, that
title?
was
No,
it.
that was it.
No,
It's
that
like,
was
come
it.
on, man. This is so much gold around this girl, and she's been here for a cup of tea.
Yeah, but you gotta understand something. If
Everybody didn't like it when
somebody,
they did that with Charlotte Flair, Earl. Everybody
no, no, they
pissed and they
didn't. No, they
moaned.
didn't. Yeah, I know, but you gotta understand something here,
But that's because
Hooligan.
she rubbed people the wrong way. Now this cute girl
Right.
comes in and she's got a big old plump booty and she's adorable and everybody loves her. So now it's okay. It's like, no, we got to keep the
No,
energy the same here, man. We got to keep the energy the
you,
same.
you gotta understand something. When you are being endorsed by a Hall of Famer like Shawn Michaels and Triple H, your star power goes through the roof.
I know, but
Um,
Triple H endorsed Charlotte Flair coming out of NXT and everybody hated her. Everybody hated Charlotte Flair for years.
yeah, because the thing is that once Vince got a hold of her and did her booking, it wasn't good. She turned into a maniacal monster. It was no good. I don't see that happening with Stephanie Becker. Every time she speaks on the mic, she seems humble, and
Yes.
the thing is that she seems very humble, and she seems very surprised by all the accolades that she's getting. And the thing is that I don't think this is going to go to her head, and I don't really see anything like that happening with her.
Okay, well, here's
I
the thing with
really
that. Like I said, she's been here for a cup of tea, and you've got Tiffany Stratton, who's been grinding, who has carried the women's division on SmackDown because she's in an absolutely atrocious division. There's really nothing going on the SmackDown side of things with the women other than Tiffany Stratton, and she's been grinding it out all year on a brand that clearly is not level with Raw's level of women talent, and to just give I I don't know. I think Tiffany deserved to win that match personally. Um, but it sounds like I don't like Stephanie the way I'm talking, and that's not true. I do like Stephanie. She is very good. She's very charismatic. I understand why everybody loves her. I was one of the people that was like, "Who's this girl?" She wrestles Mercedes Moné in AEW, and out she loses the match, but she out wrestles Mercedes. I thought
right.
Mercedes was the best female wrestler in the world at the time of watching that match. By the time that match ended, I said right away, "Oh, this changes everything greatly." I had no idea that Stephanie Vaquer was going to switch sides and go to NXT, but after I watched that match, I knew Mercedes is no longer the top female wrestler in the world. She's not, because Stephanie Vaquer
Right.
out wrestled her. That got everybody's
Yeah.
eyes on Stephanie Vaquer, and now here we are today. Okay, fine and great. I still feel
Well,
like Tiffany was in a division and grinded out. She's been champion for all year long. She was undefeated. She's done a lot more in the company uh, than Stephanie at this point. I don't know about now because WWE rocket shipped so many titles to Stephanie in the last year. But Tiffany Stratton's trajectory, people say that she got pushed to the moon, which she kind of did, but still it wasn't as fast as this meteoric rise by Stephanie Vaquer. And I hope Stephanie Vaquer ends up being everything that WWE and the fans want, because I just know after all these years of watching wrestling that when you push somebody that quickly, that fast, it never ends well. The fans will turn
yeah,
on you.
well, right. Well, Jeffrey says we only hated Charlotte because she was kind of ripping off her dad, and she wasn't authentic. Oh well, okay, yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And Chris says Stephanie Vaquer is better than Mercedes Monet will ever be. Well, yeah, I mean, and I agree with that. And
Hey,
then
what's Chris
Chris says,
Gallegos? What's he saying about me? I look like who?
well, who said that?
Chris Gallegos says your co-host looks like H.M. Howling, Mad Murdoch from the A Team. I don't know what the hell that is.
I if that's a TV show.
I know the A Team is a TV show, but is he making fun of me? Is that a compliment? I don't know what that means.
I don't know. I don't know whether I didn't see it. I can't scroll down, so
I was
I
too
don't
young to watch
know.
the A Team, so I never saw that. It would be on TV, but I was too young to watch it, so I never actually watched it.
Um,
But
that character was.
I gotta
I think
Google this
that
shit
was.
because I don't know who they're talking about.
Yeah. He was. Stephanie Vaquez. Yeah. Okay. So on an entertainment level. like I said, I gave the match. What did I give this match? An 8. I gave the match an 8, and it was fine for what it was.
Okay,
It
I
was
see this
fine.
guy. All the pictures of this guy from the A team, he doesn't even have facial hair. None of these pictures of him have facial hair.
Right.
Maybe it's the eyes. I think it's the eyes. That was why Chris said that, because his eyes, this guy's eyes are kind of, they look a little wide.
Smoky.
Not smoky, but like they're open, like really open, like they're almost like he's
Oh,
alerting
then
light, kind of
yeah.
like intense. I guess
Um,
is maybe that's why he said that.
I'm just not seeing that comment. Oh, okay,
No, I'm
Jeffrey.
not offended. I just
Okay.
didn't understand because like I said, I was too
No
young to watch
offense.
the A team, so I didn't know
No, okay, Chris. We
how you
we
were meaning that
understand.
comment.
No, I knew you weren't insulting hooligan. I knew that. So getting back to Crown Jewel, folks. Like I said, I gave the match an 8. The match was fine for what it was. Hooligan gave you his thoughts on Stephanie Vakula and everything else in between. On an entertainment level, Hooligan, what do you give this match?
I'll give him. I was entertained with the match. I mean, these PLEs we get aren't extensive anymore. We get a handful of matches and they call it a day. So with only 5 matches being on the card, I don't necessarily. It was definitely not the best match of the card. I don't even know if it was the third best match on the card. But with that being said, I was still entertained. I'd give him an 8.
Yeah. All right, folks. Here's something that was a popcorn moment. And this is what I call a popcorn moment because you wanted more of this and you wanted more of it. It was AJ Styles taking on John Cena. Now, folks, let me just tell you this, and I'm going to go on record and say this. I've never said this in a vastly long time because I usually don't use these words, and I only use it often when I see something this great. Okay, first of all, if you were a fan of old time wrestling and you like the moves of the past, you would have loved this match. You would have loved this match
If you
because
were
they
old
did
enough to
bring
watch from the beginning of the attitude, or sorry,
right,
from the beginning of the ruthless aggression era, if you
right.
were old enough to watch AJ Styles come up in TNA, this match is
You
for
would have
you.
loved this. You would have loved this match. I was almost in tears watching this match
I was in tears. You should have
because
seen me. You should have seen it.
I was in almost in tears because as an old time wrestling fan of golden eras and watching these moves being played out on a stage like this was absolutely thrilling for me as a fan, and
I've
it
never
made
seen
my
anything
heart
like
grow
this.
fonder. This absolutely, folks, was the epitome of a barn burner classic. This match was a classic. This absolutely was one of the best matches of John Cena's career with AJ Styles I have ever seen. These two men, what they produced on the stage, and let me tell you something, if you didn't know that AJ was going to retire next year, you would have thought that he signed a long-term deal with WWE the way he was performing in this match.
Both
This
guys.
match was, yes, this match was absolutely flawless. I absolutely love the match, and I will talk about this match from ear to Calcutta. This was absolutely one of the best things I have seen produced by WWE. This was absolutely, I don't know who wrote this match, I don't know who booked the match, I don't know who produced this match, but I want to give them a hug because this was just great stuff
Did
on
you
on
do you
camera.
remember when Undertaker fought Shawn Michaels in Shawn
Yes,
Michaels' send off?
yes, yes.
You remember how everybody, like, how, still to this day that match is regarded as like the quintessential, like, if you want to show somebody a perfect match, a perfect love letter to wrestling, that's the match
Right.
you should show somebody. We've not
Right.
heard of any match since then enter that category, and I think now we have a contender for probably greatest match
Yes.
of all time. Uh,
Yes.
you could have very
Yes.
well put Cena and Styles in that conversation now, in my opinion.
I'm gonna tell you something, folks. This match, I'm gonna give it back. I'm gonna give it to Hooligans in a minute, but I can't keep talking about this match. This match made me giddy. It made me want more. This match brought out an emotion in me that I've never had before in a match. I've seen a ton of. I mean, folks, if you know my history of wrestling, and you know I've seen wrestling live. I've seen great matches. I've seen awful matches. I've seen half-baked matches. I've seen it all. But this was absolutely one of the best matches I have ever witnessed. And if I was sitting in that arena, my jaw would have been on the floor because this was just, they just left it all on the line. They just did it was just they tore the house down, literally. They actually could have melted that arena down and built it back up later and came back and rebuilt it. I mean, this was just absolutely it's nothing like. And on the entertainment level, folks, if I could push the dial up to 100, I would. But this match, for the first time in wrestling experience history, gets a double 10 from me. This match gets a double 10. Absolutely
Wow.
flawless. Absolutely flawless. Flawless. Classic. Barn burner. Everything from soup to nuts, a double 10 for me. Hooligan, please take it away.
You know,
Hmm.
I'm rarely ever at a loss for words. And this match, to everything you said, and then some, um, this match, I was saying earlier, there's been a number of matches in my life that have brought me to tears, or at least gotten me teary eyed, where the tears are running down my cheeks. And I can think of a few of those right now. I don't recall ever. And I wouldn't tell you that John Cena is my favorite wrestler because he's not. I've got a plethora of wrestlers that I would pick before him if we're talking about my top 10, let's say.
Hmm.
And that's only because I've been watching wrestling, for decades like you. But I did not have John Cena versus AJ Styles one on my bingo card for 2025. And if you would have told me in January that we were going to get Cena and Styles in a match during his retirement tour and it was going to go down as quite possibly uh, the greatest match ever, the most perfect match you could ever possibly imagine, I would have for sure said at this stage of Cena's career, get the fuck out of here. You don't know what you're talking about.
Hmm.
Um, to see the backlash that they were getting when they announced this match because there was no build, and I'm like, okay, idiots. Sometimes wrestling you don't need build. This was not like a feud that they were having weeks. This wasn't about a feud. This was about a send off. This was about a one more time. Uh,
Hmm.
Watch this because if you don't, you're never getting this ever again, right? So that
Right.
in itself makes the match uber important. Therefore, you don't need a storyline. You just wrestling needs a story to make a match important, right? Or a feud important. But when you have certain situations come up, sometimes that trumps a storyline or the need for a build, and it will make the match every bit as important as if you had a build. Now, I'm watching. I was already stoked for this match. I couldn't wait. I was really annoyed at Twitter and all the bullshit I was seeing from people because I saw too much. Oh, there's no story. Oh, there's no build. Anyways, I ignored all of that. I'm watching this match, and at first, I'm not anticipating what they're about to do. So I have no idea that they're about to start doing throwback moves. And they're
Right.
about to start paying homage to their greatest hit. It was like it was like Cena and AJ Styles' greatest hits all rolled into one match, right?
Yeah, volume 8, 9, 10, 12, 15,
Now,
14, and 18. You're right.
if John Cena wouldn't be retiring this year, there would have been no need. And let's say Cena doesn't retire this year and Styles doesn't announce that he's retiring next year. We wouldn't have
Hmm.
gotten any of those homages that we got in this match. They probably would have
Right.
put on every good as banger of a match as we got. But
Right.
the fact that the two extenuating circumstances are that these guys are about to retire allowed for them to start paying homage to their greatest rivals. That made the match, that bumped the match significantly through the roof, in my opinion. I saw a lot of bullshit from people talking about, oh, they're just spamming finishers for no reason, and they're kicking out of everybody's finishers, making all these moves look weak. No, 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 no. You're not watching it properly. You're not looking at the match through the proper viewing lens. These guys
Wait,
don't
wait.
have enough time left on their careers to have
Right.
matches with all their greatest rivals. This was their way of paying nod to the guys that they
To
had
the
the biggest.
past.
Yes, Earl, there's so much. Even talk if you can see. I don't know if you can see it. You can't really see the hair
Yeah.
on my arm right now is standing straight up talking
Yeah,
about this match.
I know
This
what you're
match did
talking
so much
about.
for me emotionally that I can't say enough about the fucking match.
It was,
It was perfect.
everyone has a criticism of everything, and I turned off that radio noise. I turned off the radio noise because this match gave me chills. This match brought
Chills.
emotions out of me that was just. I just was just shaking all over like an earthquake because I was just it was just so raw emotion and it was just so cinematic classic. It was just absolutely, and like I said before, I'll say it again. If you were a classic of these moves, and you even when they did, and I'm gonna tell you this much, this really brought a tear to my eye when they did that, when he did that, Sister Abigail,
Oh
and
my
gave
god.
knowledge to brave knowledge, Bray Wyatt. Let me tell you something, folks. I was in tears.
That's
I
what I
was
was about to say.
absolutely in tears. I was literally in tears
We didn't know that
because
they were going to start paying homage to
no,
everybody. And when
no,
he grabs AJ into that Bray Wyatt, the Bray Wyatt, the Sister Abigail is what kicked off the homage to all the moves, right? So when John Cena grabs AJ and he looks at the crowd and we realize he's got him bent in that position, the whole crowd, before he even did the move, the crowd erupted. And I saw
yeah,
that, and now I was somebody on the main roster that was very critical of Bray Wyatt's booking. I was not a big fan of. I actually hated the Fiend character. I wanted Bray Wyatt to be the guy he was in NXT or the Wyatt family, and they turned him into some joke of a circus sideshow. Anyways,
right,
when John Cena goes to do the Sister Abigail, I absolutely came unglued on my stream. I started
yeah,
crying. I was in a full on cry.
yeah. I just even thinking about it, I'm trying to choke. I'm trying to get my voice right so I don't choke up here.
I know
I
exactly what you're feeling right now, Earl, because I'm feeling the
uh, uh,
same.
um I I liked it. And
It was
when he
beautiful.
did that move, oh, excuse me.
And then he's sitting in the turnbuckle, and he's looking at the. You see Cena looking around at the reaction from the crowd, and he looks up at the sky and he points like to Bray Wyatt. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna start crying. Holy shit, son of a bitch.
Um, I,
Oh,
I, I,
there's never, Earl.
I,
There's never
I
gonna
almost,
be a time in my life where where this match comes up, and I'm not gonna cry even just talking about it. That's
no,
how amazing
exactly.
this match was.
It was the match of the night for me, folks. It really was. It,
If
it
you go
did
to
it
my
for me.
Twitter, this for me, this was my match of the year.
Yeah, yeah. This made my year. It made my week. It made my hour. It made everything. This match was absolutely flawless. It,
Who knew John Cena
this,
still had that in him at this stage of his career?
and I think what even got me too was the way Alicia Taylor introduced AJ Styles in the match and what Cena did to put
That
him
was
over.
another
That, that, that,
beautiful moment.
that was another beautiful moment by Alicia
Mhm.
Taylor, and she did an amazing job at it. She
She
did an
killed it.
amazing, flawless. She killed it, and I tip my hat to Cena and Alicia for doing that. I thought that was absolutely classy.
You know,
It
it made
was
me
it
think
was
too, like how convenient that we just so happen to have a partnership with TNA. Because if we didn't, do you think they would have allowed the term "total nonstop action" to be said in AJ Styles'
no,
intro?
no, 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 they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
That
No,
how
they wouldn't.
perfect is that? That's
Especially if
like
McMahon
that's
is
like the
sitting
stars
in
aligning.
Gorilla.
You know what I'm saying? The stars
Yeah,
aligned.
yeah. It was. It's just.
One of the most beautiful
This
matches
was.
I've ever seen.
This was absolutely. I'm going to tell you something, folks. There's just no other adjectives to describe this. But
Wrestling
this
perfection.
was classy. This was done classy. This was a classic. This was a
Instant
marathon.
classic.
This was just absolutely one of the best things ever produced by WWE. And as
Yes.
far as the build is concerned, they did take you on a journey. They did do montages of their
Yes.
history. So
Yep.
they filled that void with the gap, with the build.
Agreed.
And it just fit like a pocket in an envelope. And
Mhm.
absolutely, and they gave it to you all. So I don't want you all talking about the build and everything like that. We didn't need to see that. What we needed to see was is their history, and that's what they gave you. And they put it in an envelope, and they gave you the
We
match,
didn't
and they
need build
produced it well.
because we
Well,
had already had 20 years of what they have done
right,
in the ring. So all we needed was just a little reminder and a little trip back
right.
in time. And that's exactly, they took us in a
That's
time
exactly
capsule
what they
back
did.
to the past, is what they did.
Yeah, and that was enough for me. That was
Oh,
enough for me,
and I
and
don't
it
remember
sold
ever
me. It
seeing
sold.
anything like that in pro wrestling in my life.
No, no, no. And it sold it for me. It sold it.
I'm
Again,
never going to
folks, like
forget
I
that match.
said,
I'm never, ever going to
like I
forget
s-
that.
no, like I said, folks, I gave the match a double 10, and this is the first time I've ever done it on this show. This is the first time I ever gave a match a double 10. Like I said before, I said again, folks, and I don't mean to keep beating a dead horse here because we got to move on, but the thing is that like I said, I've been a wrestling fan for 3 decades. I have seen matches that, like I said, are half baked, good, excellent, but this was beyond excellent and good. This was way beyond excellent
This
and good.
touched,
This
this hit a
was,
nerve on a different level, didn't it?
yeah, it did. It did. I'll never forget this match. I'll never forget it.
I
I'll never forget
almost,
it
this
because
match, it makes
it
me
did
so
it for
sad
me.
that we only get 4 more appearances from John Cena, man. I can't
Yeah,
believe that. I really just can't believe
it's
it.
no. All right, folks, we're up to the last match of the night.
Oh, my
We're up to
rating
the
for that
last.
match, by the way, if
Oh,
I
I'm
was Dave
sorry.
Meltzer,
I'm
I'm giving
sorry,
that 7 stars.
William.
By
Go
the way,
ahead.
you're good. You were, it's no, it brought out some emotion, so it's all good. But this was
Yeah,
absolute wrestling perfection for me. If I'm Meltzer, I gave that match a 7 stars, a perfect 10, a 12 out of 10. I mean,
yeah,
whatever barometer you want to rate a wrestling match with, it broke my scale.
yeah. Um,
My match of the year. That's what I tweeted. Match of the year for me.
yeah, yeah. And I'm not arguing with you with that. I'm not.
AJ was wearing his TNA gear. He did all his throwbacks to, he did the Coquina Clutch, a nod to Samoa Joe. Now everybody, he did the Deadeye, right? And everybody said Adam Page. If you go back, if you know your wrestling history, the guy that originally did that move was in TNA. His name, I believe, was James Storm.
Yeah.
That's the homage that he was paying when he did the Deadeye, not
Right.
to Hangman
Exactly.
Adam Page. I couldn't
Right.
believe
Right.
somebody said, "Oh, he's acknowledging Hangman Adam Page." No, he's not.
No, he's
Holy
not.
shit!
Just hold
He
the
never
phone
even
with
wrestled
that.
Adam Page. Why would he do that?
Run exactly. Okay, folks,
Good
we're
lord.
up to the last match. Cody Rhodes took on Seth Rollins for the championship. Again, the match was great,
Yeah,
but
this was
this
a good
was hard
match
to.
too.
This was good, but it just didn't top what we saw earlier. And that is no fault to Rollins and Cody. No, no.
I got a question for
Um,
you, really quick.
yeah, go ahead, Oliver.
Based on the result of the Cena Styles match and the emotional roller coaster that it took us on, and how things played out in the main event, I
Hmm.
came away from Crown Jewel saying I felt that Cena and Styles should have main evented and gone on last.
Exactly, exactly.
How do you feel about that?
No, I, I I would not sneeze on that. I would not sneeze on that, and I agree with you on that. I think that this
Send the
match,
fans
the
home off of
AJ,
AJ and Cena would have
right,
been
right.
amazing.
I would have done that. I would have put it second to last. I would have put that. I would have put Rollins and Cody on this before, and that's how I would have done the match list. That's how I would have done the match list. But they didn't do it like that.
Mhm.
So, um, but anyway, folks, the match was fine. The match was all right for what it was. But as I said in the onset of the show, um, he tweaked the shoulder. Apparently, he damaged the rotator cuff. We still don't know the severity of the injury. We don't know if it's a tear, if it's a full tear, if it's a partial tear,
Ligament
if it's
tear.
the yeah. We don't know. We don't know if it's a ligament tear.
Yeah.
We don't know if we don't know what kind of damage it is. WWE is very tight-lipped about this. They don't want to get leaked out. They're not saying anything. Rollins is still being medically evaluated. We still don't know what's going to happen. I will keep abreast of this story, and if anything breaks during the weekend, I'll certainly put it on a short. I'll put it on a short, and I'll give you all the news as I see it and as I get it. But right now, the WWE is very tight-lipped about this. They don't want anything to leak out. But on Raw, they had to do the storyline the way they had to do it because of Rollins' injury. And so we have to move on in the program. But like I said, the match was fine. The match was fine for what it was, and it was good. It was good. Rollins wins the match. He wins the ring. He wins the belt, and he's now 1-3 against Cody. And I mean, what else do you want? What else do you want to say about it? He says that he wanted to win the match by any means necessary, and he did, and his shoulder paid for it. So, on an entertainment level, I'll give the match. I'll be nice. I'll give the match an 8. The match gets an 8, and it was good for what it was. I'll give the match an 8 because it was good. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't horrible. I mean, it was good. It was pretty decent match. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. Well, what did you think?
I agree with you and about it. See, I'm somebody that's not ever really been a big Cody fan, and I've not been a Seth Rollins fan ever. So,
Right,
not to take anything away from his ability in the ring, his character and his persona just have never appealed to me as just
right.
for my taste. Um, that being said, when you get a match
Yes,
like
so
AJ
much
Styles and
Cody.
John Cena, it doesn't really matter what's going to come on after that. You're pretty much screwed.
Right.
The fact that you can say that you gave it an 8 after Cena and Styles is a testament to how good Cody and Seth can be when they especially Seth, cuz I feel like Seth sometimes doesn't. Seth, you can tell when he's giving it his all and when he's going through the motions. And I
Right.
felt like watching that match between him and Cody, I felt like Seth was giving it his all in that match. I really do. I
Right.
don't think a lot of times I get frustrated with Seth's character because I feel like he's just being too goofy and he's not taking things seriously and he's more into playing his character than he is on putting, together a classic match that you would want to go back and watch again and again and again, like a Styles and Cena.
Right. Right.
I, man, it's hard for me to grade this match because there was so many other things I liked on the show um, that had me more invested, more emotional.
Hmm.
But it wasn't a bad match, so I'm trying to keep that into perspective. And Cody Rhodes is an amazing storyteller,
Hmm.
and the match did, like you said, what it needed to do. Unfortunately, Seth paid the price for that. And
Right.
it'll be interesting to see how that affects the storyline. Especially in these next couple of months. But I would rate the match. You gave it an 8. And
Mm-hmm.
my rating, so if my rating was a 9 of the show, I've already handed out a couple of 8s. Maybe my rating of a 9 should be a B plus instead of a A because if you average the numbers, the math doesn't math. I got some Steiner math going here, but
Right.
I'll go ahead and give it an 8 as well. I'll give it an 8, and that's high praise for. I've never ever given a Seth Rollins match, I don't think, an 8.
Right.
I just wish Styles and Cena, knowing what we got, I wish that would have ended the show. That's my only qualms that I have with Crown Jewel.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I
But it's
agree
Cody,
with you.
so I get it. The champion
Yeah.
has to go on last type of mentality. So I'm not mad at it. It was a good match. I'm so more into. I'm actually more interested now in the vision that's things have transpired the way they have. I was
Yeah.
not liking the. I didn't feel the connection with the Bronze, the Bronsons, the whatever they're called, and Seth, and then the addition of Becky Lynch. I was kind of like, okay, but then she wasn't on the show last week, and then
Right.
Seth kind of changed his persona once they added Becky. Becky took on the loud, obnoxious role that Seth was, and then Seth became this quiet, just in his thoughts, and he's looking down at the ground thinking while Becky's screaming at the top of her lungs. And I'm like, well, what's this about? This isn't a side to Seth's character that we've ever seen. It just kind of
Right.
felt a bit off, the whole thing, and I didn't see the connection that the Vision was making as a group. So maybe, unfortunately, as wrestling fans, whether you like the wrestler or not, you never ever want to wish a wrestler to get injured. So I'm not happy that Seth got injured, but maybe in the long run, grand scheme of things, this ends up being a blessing in disguise because I really wasn't feeling. Seth Rollins doesn't need Paul Heyman to be. I understand. Neither does Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar doesn't speak. So Brock Lesnar needs somebody to speak because Brock Lesnar can't cut promos, and if he speaks, he's no longer the intimidating force as when he just comes out and doesn't talk. So I get the pairing of Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Seth, however, his whole character is predicated on talking shit. All he does is run
Right.
his mouth. So what does the addition of Paul Heyman do for Seth? I thought it was an odd pairing. I didn't like it at all. I really didn't.
Right. Um. Yeah. Yeah. So we gave the last match, folks, an 8. We gave
Yeah,
the
Cody
last
and Seth.
match an 8. So folks, that was Crown Jewel.
Great show. If you didn't see it, you go do your damnedest to find
Oh,
AJ Styles, John Cena,
yeah.
because my God, if anybody's never watched, that's the match you want to show somebody if they've never seen a wrestling match.
Right. Um. We were going to predict WrestleDream, but I was thinking about it right now, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't want to. I don't want to raise Hooligan's pressure to the point where he has a problem.
I don't have a
So
problem.
I want to save your blood pressure because
Hey, Earl, let me tell you, when it comes to WWE and the mistakes that they make, that will elevate my blood pressure more than I've literally completely emotionally tuned out of AEW that I don't feel anything for them anymore. So you could talk about them. We could have talked about AEW this whole entire show, and my blood pressure's good. I'll be even.
all right. Jeffrey, you like that? Okay. Bronze need Paul Heyman. Yep,
Yeah,
they do.
I agree.
They do. I agree.
Jeffrey knows
Um,
his shit.
8.5 for me. What was that, Hooligan?
Jeffrey knows his shit. I like Jeffrey's comments because
Yeah,
he knows. He's very into like he. You can tell he's someone that understands wrestling because his comments are a lot of most of the time in tune with what you and I are usually talking
yeah,
about. So
exactly. And the thing is that his comments are thought based,
yes,
he's coming from a great knowledge of wrestling. That's why I like it. I like him so much. He's good at what he does.
I should put
Um,
more thoughtful tweets out that I do. Like when I put a tweet out, it's emotion based. It's the kid fan in me that's like, you know, doesn't understand the nuances of wrestling. I just know that it's good guy versus bad guy, and it's like,
Right.
oh, fuck you, bad guy, and yay, good guy. So my tweets kind of reflect that towards matches, and I think it's actually done me a lot of more harm than good in terms of like me trying to content
No, but
create and
you,
get people to want to work with me because I talk a lot of shit when it comes to the matches, you
no,
know.
but yeah, but listen, Ulrich, yeah, I'm going to defend you here, and I'm just gonna say this. I've had many guests on this show that when I debate them in wrestling, they don't know what they're talking about. And the thing is that I look back on the video and I look back at it and I can't ask them to come back because the thing is that I I like when somebody has thought provoking and analytical ways about them where they could meld everything together and give you some kind of something to chew on. And that's what you do. And the thing is that yes, all of our predictions may not come true. I don't know everything. I'm not perfect at wrestling. I'm not. And I know a lot of people come to me and they're like, you don't know what you're talking about, and you can't be a wrestling fan. Listen, I've been around for a long time. I've been around a vastly long time. And the thing is that I like sitting with a fan and discussing things and knowing how frustrated I am with the booking. And like I said before, I said that nobody's perfect. We're not going to be perfect at everything. We're just not. It's just not in our DNA to do that. So when you make a comment or you say something or you bring something out and you want to be heard, it's good to be and it's healthy to be like that. So I don't want to ever see you beat yourself up, Ruben, because you great at what you do. You come up with these fantasy bookings, and so do I. And sometimes they don't come to fruition, or sometimes I get frustrated at a match and I'll tweet about it. And I'm like, I don't like this. I don't know what they're doing here. Why are you giving us this 2 weeks in a row? Why are we dialing this back? And I always say to fans, and I said, you don't look at the overall picture. You have to sit back and look at the overall picture of the booking. And that's what some wrestling fans don't do. They just see something and react to it. And they react to it in the wrong way because you're not looking at it all around. You're not looking at it from both sides. You're not looking at it from either side of the coin. And that's what you have to look at. That's what you have to do with wrestling and the booking. You have to look at it from the other side of the coin. Yeah, maybe sometimes I'll predict something and it doesn't come true. Okay, fine. I don't know anything. I'm not questioning. I don't know. Like sometimes I'll predict something and maybe it don't come true, or maybe it does come true, or maybe half of it comes true. I mean, yeah, but not, that's wrestling, folks. That's what makes a wrestling fan. That's what makes us wrestling fans.
I think a lot of content creators when they tweet, they try to tweet from an analytical, unobjective, unbiased
No,
and objective place. I have been watching. I'm sorry for my money. I've been watching wrestling too long, regardless of what my goal is in the content creation space. I'm not going to sit there and just pretend to be a robot that feels nothing, or nor am I able to. I'm not able to watch wrestling from a non-emotional standpoint. I always have a dog in the fight. I always know who I want to win, who I think should win. Um, Obviously, I have the betterment of the company in mind. I'm not just thinking that, oh, you should have such and such win, regardless of how it fucks up storylines and whatever else is going on. I try to be
right.
logical about it. But when I'm tweeting after a match, that's the kid in me. That's the kid in me that's going for the good guy versus the bad guy dynamic and nothing more. There's no deep rooted analytical anything involved other than I'm watching the match and does it jump off the screen to me? Do I agree with the outcome? Are the wrestlers giving it their all, or is it coming off as nobody gives a shit? Those are the kind of tweets I make, and I think it rubs people the wrong way. Not that I care, but
Well,
I've noticed
but
recently, people that used to interact with me are no longer responding to me. So whatever that's about, um, I can't say for sure, but I've definitely noticed a shift in energy in the way that I've been treated in the space over the last year, this year
Yeah,
in
well,
particular.
I mean, I've had my share of lumps too. I've had my
Yeah.
share of lumps. We all go through that. We all go through the highway of potholes of misunderstanding, and that's what it is, and that's exactly what it is. You can't tear down somebody you don't understand, and I've said that many times over. I've said
Uh,
that many times over, and that's the truth. That is the truth. Okay, folks.
Jeffrey, I
Before
agree. I'm sorry, Earl. Let me just respond to
okay,
Jeffrey's comment real quick. He says, "I'm not going to fake." That's how I tweet. I can't fake my
yeah,
thoughts. And
yeah,
if
yeah,
if
no, you
my
can't.
thought involves talking shit about a wrestler because I feel like they did a shitty job, and it seems disrespectful to the rest of the wrestling community, just block me then. I'm not going to not tweet my thoughts or half-ass tweet my thoughts because it might ruffle some people's feathers and they don't like that I'm talking shit about a wrestler. Jeffrey, the fact that you said that you've only been watching wrestling since 2004, that was the year
Right,
that John Cena started. That's the year that my son was born. So that's why I think also I'm so emotional about Cena's retirement tour and us coming to the
right,
end of it because my son was born, and about 6 months into his life, a situation happened that greatly, drastically changed both of our lives forever. And it's been a long emotional roller coaster of a road in my journey as a parent and being a father. The fact
right,
that you've only been Jeffrey, you comment about wrestling like you've been watching as long as me and Earl. I thought you were like our age and you've
right,
been watching for like 30 years.
right.
That's even more impressive that you've only been watching for
And you
20
have
what
that vast
20 years.
knowledge. Yeah, and you have that vast knowledge.
I mean, me and Earl are
Amazing.
almost 4 decades into this shit, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like we've been watching a long time, and the fact that you
Yeah.
started in '04 is wow.
That's amazing.
You've got a good mind for wrestling, Jeffrey. You really do.
You do, and that's why I like him. Yeah, watching '04, but a lot about the attitude. Yeah, absolutely. And we lived through that. I lived through that. Right. Some people can get sensitive, be too sensitive. Absolutely. Uh, yeah. Okay. All right, folks. All right. Before we go, folks, I just want to let everybody know about what's happening with me and my schedule. As you all know, I'm taking a very light schedule. I'm taking a very schedule because of my work commitments and all the commitments that I have right now, and everything is very light. So I will not broadcast WrestleDream this Saturday night. I'm not broadcasting that. I am not broadcasting Saturday night's main event on November 1st. Not doing that on November 1st.
Are you going
So
to be there? Are you going to
the
be at the show?
we're in Washington. We're in which Saturday night's main event? Are you
Where's the?
talking about?
I guess I'm assuming that Saturday night's main event is in New York. Maybe it's not. Where is
No,
it
it's
at?
not. No,
Oh, okay.
November 1st they will be in Salt Lake City, Utah.
What the hell?
Um, yeah. Um,
Oh, I was way
yeah.
off.
So
Never mind. Salt Lake City.
yeah,
Jesus
yeah,
Lord.
yeah.
What a random place.
So yeah. So will SmackDown. SmackDown will have their Halloween show on October 31st in
Oh
Salt Lake
boy.
City, Utah, and following that will be Saturday night's main event. Okay. Um, and that will be the second to last Saturday night's main event of the year.
It's
Um,
crazy that we're getting two Saturday night's main events in like a month, in like a
right.
span of a month. I don't know why they're doing that.
Because of the contract that they have with Peacock.
Uh,
Um, yeah. So the WWE will be doing that. So I won't be broadcasting WrestleDream this Saturday. I will not be broadcasting Saturday night's main event. I will be back doing a PLE when we have the Survivor Series. Now the Survivor Series is going to happen after Thanksgiving, and I will be doing the Survivor Series. That will be WWE's final pay-per-view offering of 2025, and
really?
that'll yep.
There's
The
nothing in
Survivor
December,
Series.
huh?
Nope. The
Just
WWE Survivor Series will close WWE's PLE calendar, and that will do it for WWE. That will do it. Um, However, I will be attending Full Gear. I will be attending AEW's Full Gear on Saturday night, the 22nd, when it comes to Newark, New Jersey. I'll be inside Newark's Prudential Center as Full Gear unfolds. So I will be there for that live.
Oh, bless you, Earl.
Um,
I wish I could save you from yourself.
no, I listen. I love me some wrestling. It
I
doesn't
know you
matter
do.
what. Just put the ring in the middle of the building. I don't care who it is. Bring it out. Let's have some fun and let's enjoy ourselves because we need an escape from this rat race that we're going into right now. And as
True
far
that.
as as far as Wrestle Dream is concerned, folks, there is no build for this pay per view. The matches are okay for what it is. I don't expect anything to come out of this. Um, Here's some obvious that in the booking. First of all, Darby Allin is not winning the last man standing match against Moxley. He's not winning that. You can forget that. That's a done deal. That's a done deal. That is a done deal. That's a done deal. Statlander taking on the former AEW Women's Champion. They're not changing the title on that. So Statlander is going to retain over Tony Storm. We all know that's going to happen. Um, Ricochet and the Gates of Agony are going to take on the Hurt Syndicate again with MVP. Again, like I said before, I don't know why they booked this match again. I don't know why they're dialing this back. This is really one of those bookings where I'm just like, why are we seeing this again? We saw it last night. We seen it on Collision, and now we're getting it in a pay per view. Okay, all right. I don't have any predictions for this match because I don't know who's going to win the match. I really don't. I don't know who's going to win the match because they need to change the ending and the narrative. So I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know what Tony Khan's going to do here. Here's a match that doesn't belong on the pay per view. Tekla is going to go against Jamie Hayter. Again, like I said before, I'll say it again. This is not a pay per view worthy match. This is a collision match. This is a dynamite match. This doesn't belong
A
on the
house
main
show match,
roster.
a non-televised
Right.
match.
Right. This is not a pay per view worthy match. All right. This is not a pay per view worthy match. And I'm sorry, this is not going to do good. I'm not going to enjoy watching this match. I really not. I find that incredibly not worth watching. It's just I have no expectations with it. I just don't. Um and and what else are we going to see? Oh, Jurassic Express taking on the Young Bucks. All right. This is the first time that the Jurassic Express is coming together as a tag team in a vastly long time on pay per view. I'm gonna give the edge to Jurassic Express to win the match over the Bucks. I'll give it to them with that. I'll give it to them. The main event of the show will be Hangman Adam Page defending his title against Samoa Joe. The match was booked very quickly. There is no build to the match. Uh, I'm not expecting much of this match. I really don't. I think Hangman's going to retain.
Yeah,
That
they're not giving
he's
the
going
win to
to
Samoa Joe. They're not.
no. He's going to retain, and that's what's going to happen here in this match. He's going to retain. So, folks, that's Wrestle Dream in its nutshell. That's what you're going to see Saturday night in St. Louis. That is exactly what you're going to see. And like I said before, I'm not broadcasting the show. I'm not doing the show, but I will be watching it. I'll be watching it with an eagle eye. I'm going to be watching it. Uh, but like I said, you all could watch it on Max. You can watch it on regular pay per view outlets. You can watch it on Amazon Prime and everything else. So that's Wrestle Dream, folks. That's what's going to happen this Saturday night. Yeah, just call this pay per view no build. Yeah, absolutely.
I like the term Wrestle Dream because it's going to put everybody to sleep.
This is a dark match. Yeah, 0 hour dark match, right? NXT Halloween Havoc is October 25 too. Yeah, I know that. Yes, I know that. Thank you a lot, guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much, Jeffrey, for that compliment. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, watching is. Oh, yes, I already read that. Okay. So that is WrestleDream, folks, and like I said, um, AEW has almost sold out the show, and we're going to get about 10,000 people inside the Shavitz Arena in St. Louis. The pay per view always brings in the crowd. It always does, and it's very unpredictable about what you're going to see in the show. When AEW does a pay per view, you never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're
Someone's
going to
gonna
see.
bleed profusely.
Yeah, yeah. You never know what you're going to get in the match. You never know. You just really never know what you're going to get in AEW pay per views. Um, and that is and their pay per view calendar is almost coming to a close. Because after Wrestle Dream, ladies and gentlemen, we will have Full Gear, and Full Gear will happen on Saturday night, November the 22. Saturday night, November 22, and I'll be inside Newark's Prudential Center for that. And then we will come to the close with World's End in December. So that's AEW has three pay per views left. WWE has about one more pay per view, and that will be the Survivor Series. So AEW has three, WWE has one. So, folks, that
Jeez,
is going to
Lord.
do it. That is going to do it, folks, for me. That is going to do it for me in the wrestling experience. I want to thank Hologram. I want to thank the guys in the chat. I want to thank everybody that was in the chat today. You all were fabulous at what you do. And it's been great. It's been a great ride. Now, I hope everyone will have a great weekend. I'm not sure when I'll be on the air again, but you'll see me soon. Trust me, you will see me soon.
You can catch me on
And
Tuesdays for NXT on my
yeah,
channel.
and you can watch William on his channel for NXT live. He'll be on there, and give him a like, give him a sub, and try him out. I'm sure he'll be fabulous. He'll hit a home run. And again, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope everyone has a great weekend. I
Thank you
hope
for
you
having me,
enjoy your
Earl, as
week.
always.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
thank you very much. No problem, William. And I hope you have a safe weekend. I hope everyone will enjoy the
You
weekend as well. And if you do watch WrestleDream, enjoy it. It's an escape. It's a wrestling escape, and that's what I look at it as. Um, and like I said, Monday Night Raw is this Monday night. We're gonna have Raw Monday night. Of course, Friday night SmackDown is tomorrow night, and you can tune in to the USA Network.
You never know.
Until
We might see one special woman. She put out a random tweet on Monday with no caption, no words of any kind. It was just a picture of her, and I thought this is a really it's on a Monday too. This is a really random post. She doesn't usually post selfies like that. One Dr. Britt Baker may be coming to WWE sooner rather than later.
right. Even though Tony Khan won't release her. Um, um, so
Still, how long is she under
I,
contract for?
I know.
I'm
Well,
hoping for the
folks,
I'm hoping for the best on that one.
exactly. Well, folks, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching the Wrestling Experience. I'm Earl Cole. He is Hologram. I will catch you later on the flip side. And don't forget, EO Sky. Good night, everyone, and thank you for watching the Wrestling Experience.